Welcome to our 173rd episode of Guerrilla Radio. I'm Joe Caprino. We have Mr. Mike Reiser here, and then another special guest. You doing selfies with this?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna tweet it. With Dustin, man. I don't get to do a lot of shows with Dustin.
Yeah, and we get Dustin Bentz, the mouth of the South, our Southern correspondent, father of a state champion, all-around good guy.
Let's go.
Any other adjectives to describe you? Handsome?
Highest champ, bro.
I think you nailed it right there.
I acknowledge him.
So, how's the South? Is it warm?
Hey, they're calling for a high of 65 Saturday. 65 for semi-state.
Wow, that needs to.
And did you hear that state's in Evansville next weekend? I know some people still don't know that, but just
hold on. Are you
in case
telling
you
me
haven't heard yet.
It's not going to be in Indianapolis? They've always had it in Indianapolis.
No, not this year. They said they wanted to bring it to the home of the gold, so they're bringing it down to us.
I didn't think we were going to have it at Crown Point.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, it's the mayor. We're gonna deem you the mayor of Evansville for the next 2 weeks, if that's okay. He's gonna be our tour guide and everything.
Hey, I got Ric Flair tonight because diamonds are forever, and so is the Evansville semi-state, and so is Ric Flair. So we're ready to go tonight.
All right, how is the only surviving semi-state preview? Is it ready yet?
It's ready. It's being proofread. Last I heard, my proofreader was on 175-ish or so. So as soon as he gives me the go-ahead, I've only had 2 mix-ups so far. As soon as he gives me the go-ahead, I'll send it to you, and hopefully it's out sometime tomorrow. So the TripleB preview is ready to go.
Yep.
Who did the original ones? TripleB. Who else?
I used to do like a. I would do a Fort Wayne one. I think Hollenball would do Newcat or he'd do East Chicago, Maryville back in. I don't even know if we've really done an East Chicago one, but and then
Tyson does.
It's because they can't read up there. We had to go to video for these Chicago semi-state guys because they can't read.
You ain't lying, bro. You ain't lying. I'm seeing some of these posts. You ain't lying.
The education. It's not education first there. It's wrestling first in the region.
I think it's hard work. We're trying to fill the unions, man. Unions first. We're pushing trade schools.
Are the seats more comfortable than Roberts Stadium? I don't even know what's Roberts Stadium.
What is that?
Oh, that's the old. So the old stadium was Robert Stadium. They tore it down when they built the Ford. I can tell you, our seats are gonna be more comfortable at the Ford.
They're not seats. They're thrones. Right? They're thrones.
That's right.
At least mine's gonna be a throne. Yeah, we got some nice seats. We got the hookup. So, yeah. What's I guess give us a little bit of a preview of what we're gonna be expecting in the Ville, not Cruella.
So let me scroll through here a little bit. 98 state-ranked wrestlers.
No, I mean as far as the Evansville, like what we're expecting down south when we go to state next week.
The Crescent City, man. Evansville is always rocking. Thursday night, get there early. We're going to have a live guerrilla radio at Chaser's Bar and Grill on Franklin Street. Tons of options on Franklin Street. And the Ford Center, it's kind of a little Gamebridge. I mean, it's super nice, super up to date. I mean, newer than Gamebridge. Probably the newest. Would it be the newest arena in the state in terms of that size? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
They redid Pepsi Coliseum a couple years ago, but
that they redid that. But
yeah,
it's still the same. I mean, that one you could almost, I don't know. We won't get into technicalities, but yeah. So, yeah, it should be. Yeah, and we got the Guerrilla Radio there, and then we between sessions on Saturday, we're gonna do a live one on the street. I don't know where. They're blocking off like 2 streets, so. Hopefully no one falls from the zip
Guerrilla
lines.
Radio street party before the finals.
Yeah. Hopefully no one. So who's are you doing the zip line?
Me?
No, Dustin.
Oh.
Or are we
I
sending
need 2 zip lines. Can I do 2 zip lines at the same time?
Are we gonna send? Should we send Caleb on the zip line with a flag, like an IndianaMat flag?
I think that'd be
There
great.
you go.
Is Nick coming? Like Nick, I feel like that's a job for Nick.
No, I asked him if he was gonna come, and he said he didn't want to drive that far. So I don't know.
He can jump in with you. That's closer to you guys. Shout out, Ann's birthday was this week too.
Yeah, and survived raising him and Jim. So
Wow.
yeah, they're gonna have a zip lines. They're gonna have the streets right in front are gonna be blocked off, and they're gonna have food trucks and everything going on there. So bring us some
Beer
food.
garden,
We're gonna Mike and I and everyone else. We're gonna be there and hanging out and doing like a live guerrilla radio. So pre-show. So
Yeah.
maybe your brother can be a stuntman for you on the zip line.
Yeah, that'd be great. We
With his Crown Point or his Hobart shirt or Crown Point. What's he gonna wear?
Oh man.
Will they ever go back to Indianapolis after they do this with the street party and all that? I mean, Evansville knows how to do it. They have the largest. Somehow Evansville will tell us they have the largest like festival in the country, or the most famous festival in the country, or something like that. So we might never go back to Indy. I'm just saying, all you Northerners be prepared once they drop the party.
Uh-oh.
What's the festival?
Man, I don't. Only I had 19 phones in front of me.
Largest festival. I've never heard of the largest festival.
I thought Mardi Gras was the largest festival. Is that a festival?
I think they have one that was rated like the most popular festival or something. West Side Nut Club Fall Festival, maybe.
What?
Okay. Hey, bro.
Hey.
I've always wanted to go to that. When is that?
We
Joe can't even breathe over there. You all right, Joe? Hold your breath, man.
Oh, jeez.
Do you think? Someone asked me, and I'm sure to go back to Indy. Just centrally located, especially with that HSA right there. Do you think this is like a venue they could possibly do for like girls' state going forward?
Maybe. I mean, I know girls. They could. I mean, I know they had the girls' basketball state up here in Fort Wayne a few years, and I don't know exactly why, but this is the first state finals in Evansville, so they're taking this pretty seriously. So yeah, I don't know what they'll be doing. The Fall Festival, largest street
West
festival.
Side Nut Club Festival attracts over 200,000 people a year. I mean, that's...
Well, it's going to be 200,002 next year because Mike and I are coming.
one of the largest street festivals in the United States. That's
what is it? Before I go there and like put my name on this, what is it celebrating? Don't mess with me.
Annual event held the first full week of every October on Franklin Street in Evansville, organized by the West Side Nut Club. The festival features over 130 food booths, run and operated for non-profit groups. It doesn't really celebrate anything. I don't know.
Awesome.
Yeah, the Ford Center is outrageously expensive. You've never been to an arena then. Is it what's the prices on things, Dustin? Do you have? Can you send us pictures of the prices?
I'll send something this weekend. How about that?
Okay.
I mean, TripleB don't pay for it. TripleB don't pay for anything, so I couldn't tell you.
I'm gonna sneak some food in. I'm gonna sneak in some burgers and stuff.
Yeah, I heard their security is top notch. They do not let you bring in anything there.
They take away your Tic Tacs. Ask Matty Brewer. They'll take away his Tic Tacs at the door.
So there's gonna be a lot of bad breath. That'll be hopefully the media entrance is a little more friendly. So, but anything else we want to talk about before we get into the brackets?
I think we do need, like, Sarah Coleman Dickman's right. We do need like a food review. That's gonna be next week's show. We're gonna have to do one day just food review. Get everyone ready. Get a primer. Maybe we'll get some sponsors. Get some people going some places.
Yeah.
I'm taking Mrs. TripleB to Smitty's Italian Steakhouse Friday night. So that's where I'll be at Friday night this year.
If anyone wants to go buy my guy a steak.
It's my birthday Saturday. I turned 44 Saturday.
Ooh, that's old. That is old, dude. You're getting up there.
How old are you?
Well, 44. I know. I've been there for half a year. So, okay. So we're gonna get into brackets. Let's see. You got Dustin there. Good. Okay. So, Evansville semi-state, one of the top 4 semi-states, I've heard. That's the rumor. 106. First top quarter bracket, David Allstat, Mater Dei, Nolan Riley, Columbus North, Nolan Mullins, Jasper, and then Mason Goals of Avon. This is rare for Evansville. You got 2 ranked guys possibly in the ticket round.
Right.
Probably like the only
Not
one.
a terrible draw, but and all the pickers went different directions. So I guess it just depends on what part of the state you live in. The South guys like Allstock, the Northern guys like Goals. I'm not. I don't know if they've wrestled or not. I didn't look that far back.
Well, they've wrestled twice. Goals beat them twice.
So there you go. Goals got. I think Goals gets the nod too. He had the nod. I can't give away all my preview in this, but I tell you, Hook and Half says Allstott brings it. Hook and Half. Steve Johnson says it's Allstott's match to lose.
Yeah, he's also a Mater Dei guy. He wrote a book. He wrote like a book about Mater Dei.
Yeah, I think Goals has been wrestling really well, 33-4. I think Avon wrestles a really good schedule. Obviously, I think he took a loss to Olgi that he reversed at the sectional, right?
Yeah.
And then who was his other losses to?
There's a website
I have
for
it in
that.
front of me. Campbell 7-1, Royce Malone 7-0, Union County 3-0, and Olgi. So he's pretty solid. I think that he was a guy even last year in the offseason was really good, kind of sitting behind Rio. I mean, if you're a little guy there's a good chance you're going to be behind a Rio.
So yeah, going down, you got another. It's a couple other ranked guys here. Talon Jessup, Columbus East, Mateo Sirignano from Evansville Memorial, Eli Ogle from Brownsburg, Jackson Jean from Bloomington South. So you got some 3 guys with numbers. Should be a pretty good first round match there.
Yeah, Gene and Ogle. I mean, just the Brownsburg and Bloomington South both are coaches now to get their kids ready. That'll be a pretty good match first round, and then Jessup's waiting in the semis. So I think Jessup gets through there. Got to give love to Coop and my Olympians, but I mean every quarter bracket we're gonna. I think there were only 2 or 3 quarter brackets total that had no ranked guys in it throughout the whole thing. So I mean, just every bracket we're gonna hit stuff like this. So.
Yeah, that'd be a good first one. Jackson Jean, we got to see him, and Al Smith. I thought he was pretty solid. I think he lost Tegan Newell in the blood round there. Ogle, I mean, we had to win a pretty tough wrestle to get in the lineup. Cash Mays was in the. I mean, I don't know if there was injury or anything going on there. I'm not really sure. But I mean, you have to battle every day. You have to wrestle one of the best guys in the state every day. You got to wrestle a tough guy to get in the lineup, and then him and Jessup was pretty close. I think it was 6-4. So Jessup 2 losses, and one was Mason Jones. Who was the other one too? Malone?
Yep, Royce Malone.
He's really good. I'm sure we're about to talk about him too.
Yeah. So should be. That's a good one. Going down next quarter bracket, Owen Blessinger from Southridge, Joseph Hamilton of Center Grove. He's the only one state ranked there. Carson Batchelder. And then Batchelder.
I don't know.
Yes, and then Ethan Rose from Switzerland County. So could have an 8-9 in the semi-state.
I think you'll see. I know some people were sending me Blessinger will surprise some people, but Hamilton obviously ranked in the state good. He was a late addition, right? It was Justice Thrasher most of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was up at 13, and made the cut down. I was kind of surprised with that. And I mean, we could talk about it ad nauseum, and I'm sure it'll come up several times through the show. That Mooresville the regional is ridiculously tough. Like Hamilton is the 4 there, but I would be willing to bet that he could have been a finalist in a lot of other regionals.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. I thought he wrestled well when we've seen him. I know he had some really good matches through the year. 18 and 12, they wrestled a pretty good schedule, and I know he took a lot of losses at 13.
So then the last.
I'll be homering for Ethan Rose, Switzerland County. He'll be my sentimental pick there, but yeah, Hamilton, that'll be a tough out there.
And Switzerland County is still looking for their first qualifier, right?
Yeah, never had a state They got 4 there this year. They've never had a state qualifier.
Okay.
He's in a good spot though. Of all the spots that you could have picked where guys were landing, that's probably where you want to be as a 2.
Yeah, the best draw possible there in that whole bracket.
Yeah. We'll save the best one for last down low. Royce Malone, Monrovia, having a heck of a freshman year. Braden Thomas, Tell City. Aiden Woods from Franklin. And then Brady Bird was upset, a little bit upset last week. He finishes second. And then, so we got 4 and 6 in the state in the ticket round. And then obviously a number 22 lurking in there too.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first of our Charles Barkley terrible draws in the preview, but Malone and Bird. Bird's had a great year. Allstock got him last weekend at the Castle Regional. Senior versus a freshman in the ticket round. That's what semi-states are for, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's another one where, depending on what part of the state you're going to ask, and they're going to tell you Bird or they're going to tell you Malone. So.
I think, and we talked about it in the last show on the Fort Wayne one. If Bird's really good, and I know he was All-American this summer. Not where you want to take your first loss. I would be willing to bet of his 42 wins, a lot of those are bonus points, if not all of them are bonus point wins. Right off the bat, Aiden Woods is good. Coach Tante is going to have him ready to go. I know he spent some time at 13. He had a really good win over Lucas Manning of Portage. He's pretty tough, so that'll be like if you're overlooking it, you're looking at the the 6 and 4 in the ticket round, you might get bit by the 22 in the first round. Malone's really tough. I know he has a loss to Boyd, and his other loss was at 13, right?
Yeah, his losses are to Boyd and Shutley.
10-6. That might be Jensen Boyd's closest match of the year too. Really talented freshman. And he's got some really talented partners, I'm sure we're about to talk about at 113.
Who you taking, Mike? You taking Malone or Bird?
Bird's dad went to Kinky Valley, which is like kind of on the outskirts of the region. So I got to go with some region guys, man.
Bird's a region guy. That's right. I forgot about that.
So anytime when it's a toss-up, I gotta go. I gotta be a little bit of a homer, man.
he just hates the Mooresville Regional. That's all.
Oh man, like there's a good chance they could get all 4 of their. I don't know if they're getting all 4 through, but they're pretty tough, man. That's a really tough regional.
Yeah.
I don't think it was as bad in the first round as it had been the last couple of years. They might be slipping. They might be coming back to earth.
So going down to 113, Eli Collier, Owen Valley, Carson Collier. Are they cousins? Of Charlestown, is that right?
I doubt it.
I guess I have not looked that closely to the brackets and see 2 Colliers. I bet Collier wins there. Brennan Leonard of Martinsville and Caleb Schaefer in number 8 and 10, 3 and 4 in the semi-state. Had a little bit of a disagreement, so let's hammer this disagreement out.
Okay. Dustin, go ahead.
Dustin thinks that Leonard's better. Mike thinks that Schaefer's better. So state your opinion.
Wait, where did this all? Oh, because the ranking discrepancy. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Not usually we get to have the same guys on here argue about this. So.
This will happen a couple times. And I'll tell you what, Mike and I don't know the other discussions you guys have had in your other ones, but Mike and I will talk about like common losses. I'll text them and ask them some information, but I don't try to use the state rankings as a guide, but if I have a feeling or if I'm going to go here, I'll go there. I try to be subjective in things. So, I mean, you'll see this. I know more than once you'll see where the rankings are off. So that being said, I might have picked Caleb Schaefer and went with Modern Day when I did my brackets. But
I think, and I always feel like, it's one of those things. I really like that. I like, and we talked about it. I had Dane and Rex asked me about it on the show, and I was like, yeah, I like that you guys do your own thing, and I think that's really cool. And the weirdest part is that sometimes my semi-state rankings that I do are different than my state rankings too. So I don't know how to argue that. But a lot of it's based on results and like what you're doing at that time. It might be, I might think someone's way better. And I don't know. Well, I'm sure we'll run into someone that I think is way better, but had a loss to someone and kind of dropped them down. They never got that win to kind of pull them back in. With that being said, that first round match is really good. Brendan Leonard's really tough. Schaefer's really tough. I know he's got a handful of losses to Rio. I feel like Avon made their way down to Evansville a lot this year, so they know the path. I think you took Schaefer in that pick. I might take Leonard in that one. We'll flip the ranking.
The next quarter bracket, Ethan Pittman from the Madison Cubs, regional champ.
Yeah. Hold on. Caleb Schaefer has 5 losses. 3 to Nate Rio, 4-2, 6-0, 5-1. 1 to Revan Dickman, 2-0, and then got beaten the regional championship by Ulrey.
Jeez. Those are pretty good losses. Pittman has Caleb Patterson from Jasper, Donata Henderson from Vincent's Lincoln, and then Nate Rio from Avon. So Pittman's reward for winning regional is number 2 guy in the state, possibly.
Hey, that's all right. First, are we taking shots every time we say TripleB train? Because
I don't have enough alcohol.
TripleB train freshman Ethan Pittman. Shout out to Easy E, man. And that Rio draw is obviously not the best draw in the world, but super proud to have a freshman regional champ at Madison. So
yeah, that's really good. And you had a couple. Obviously the youth movement down there is working pretty good because you had a couple middle school champs. So, any other comments on this quarter bracket other than you're picking Pittman for a major upset?
That's right. I got Pittman. No offense to my contenders, but I got Pittman with a major upset there.
Pittman gonna come out and do his best Jared Dunn.
Hey, at least if you get attacked by the Rios.
Left-handed headlocks all week. That's all we've been working.
At least if you get attacked by the Rios, none of them are over 120 pounds, so you might have a chance.
Bro, but they're so tough. And there's a lot of them. Even the guy on Gallagher's Travels, he got taken down.
Yes. So going down 113 still. Revan Dickman. His mom gets upset if you move her camera. Don't do it. Caleb Reed of Wrights. LeBlanc Fan of Floyd Central. And Ethan Poling of Columbus East. Dickman has yet to lose to an Indiana kid. So I think he's in a good spot.
Yeah, and I'll kind of throw this out there because every year it happens. Like last year, I think Jake Hockaday was not a lock despite being a returning state champ, and this year, despite being a returning state champ, when the preview drops, Revan Dickman is not a Ford Tough lock. Like he's the favorite to win. If you understand, when you read the preview, you'll see what I mean. Ford Tough lock means every single person. I have 5 pickers. That means every single picker picks that person to win. Revan Dickman, not a Ford Tough lock this year. And it says it in the preview, but Miss Dickman, don't jump me in the hotel lobby either, like you did last year for not picking Ison to be the Ford Tough lock. So,
bro,
there you go.
I had to send Miss Dickman an apology for not having her kid ranked number 1 at NCAA's. I might have been a little overserved. And I was hanging out with the contenders guys. But, yeah, man.
Yeah. So with your locks, and that means, are you going to out the people that don't pick Dickman so that his mom can take care of business?
No, everybody remain anonymous.
But But Thursday night, if you get him served enough, he'll tell you who it is.
I know that. Hey, that's a fear. That's a legit fear. Someone was just telling me like they're really proud that when I'm on the show, I don't say that many swear words because off the show I do.
What if Robert shows up Thursday night to the Guerrilla Radio?
I'm gonna wear a bow tie.
Should we invite him? I'll invite him Sunday.
I haven't.
Yeah, tell Falcons to come. Can he be our special guest? I hear. Yeah, bring him.
Is the Black Fawn on the top names? That's a good name, man. I like that.
Yeah. So then the last quarter bracket, Wyatt Ory had good win. Obviously, freshman from Boonville, only one loss. Gavin Ash, Monrovia, Braden Walters from Salem, and Tommy Nguyen from New Albany.
So, Ash is the favorite. I feel like Ash is the favorite, but I can tell you, like, I think I don't have that right in front of me. I feel like 3 different people got picks in this quarterback from the pickers. So why? And it's hard to say that somebody that's 41 is not the favorite, but Ash with the pedigree, what we were talking about earlier, Mike. I think you brought up the end of 106, that room there with the Malones, the Ashes, all those guys in there. But this quarter bracket, maybe kind of I have it circled, like maybe kind of pay attention because I noticed as picks were rolling in, different people were getting kind of picks here and there. So,
huge win for Ulrich.
Joe Butler. Mooresville doesn't sweep this week. Nope, this ain't the Mooresville sweep, buddy. Sorry, not this one.
He said, I know we had talked about Ulrich through the year. I didn't get a ton of Castle results or Boonville results. I didn't get any Boonville results, barely. And I think I asked you at one point, I was like, is he wrestling? And you feel like he's out there? And then you came back and he was, at that point, he was like 34-1. I was like, oh man. So he is wrestling. He's doing really well. But I didn't have a ton of information, so we didn't put him in. But that right off the bat, that Ash and Ulrich match is going to be really good. That's going to be a really good match. I know Tom Wynn's a good wrestler. I know he's kind of been in the mix the last couple of years. He's had some good wins, but that's a good quarter bracket. Just kind of toss it up and see who wins.
Yeah, that'll be a fun quarter bracket for sure.
I'm taking Dickman. If I got a 4-lock pick, I'm taking Dickman to win it.
I personally picked Dickman. He just didn't get all 5 picks. So
Dustin really was the one that didn't pick him in the pick 'em.
Try to get me jumped, Joe. Try to get me jumped.
On these Chicago picks, I'll tell something on the thanks. I know I talk to these people more than I talk to these people, but when I get the pick-ups and Joe will look at it, he'll be like, you dirty dog.
120, Ty Henderson undefeated, Mater Dei, William Rader, Terre Haute South. And this I think this might be a Charles Barkley terrible draw. Preston Haynes, Brownsburg Senior, and then Luke Kirshner from Jennings County. Haynes and Henderson had a real good match. Henderson with a late fall, and so that's gonna be a fun one.
Hey, there's some shenanigans too because I went to pull up the Haynes Henderson match on Flow, and it's the only match out of that whole dual meet that you can't. Doesn't have a little green watch arrow on it. So somebody went in and had that match destroyed. So there could be no scouting or watching of it. So
Haynes was winning towards the end and got put to his back, right?
Yeah, he got a reversal in the second period, and then I think he got headlocked, if I remember correctly, and it was 5:40 or something like that. So I mean,
yeah,
it was.
I mean, I think the points put Henderson Henderson wrestled out of his mind that day. He wrestled amazing. He's having a great season. I'm not trying to say he caught him, so that's not what I'm saying. But he beat Haynes and he beat LaRocca on the same day. And he pinned. I watched the Charlie match. I know for sure I watched the Charlie match.
Yeah. So I mean, he proved it that day that he's pretty good. And I mean, obviously he was at Vincent's Lincoln. Now he's back at he's at Mater Dei, and that's a huge filled in a real good position for them and having a heck of a season.
Yeah, look at Joe dropping some H-bombs in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I don't know a lot about Vincent's Lincoln. but I'm sure being in there between the Schaefer brothers probably gives you a couple better partners to work at this time of year. So that'll be a good one.
I was reading.
What?
I was reading the Castle Regional recap today, and they interviewed Henderson in there, and he said like him and Caleb Schaefer have been workout partners forever, so it just made sense academically and athletically for him to make that move. I mean, when your workout partner is at a different school, that makes it tough. So I think he wanted to get together where him and Caleb could work out every day. And man, that's just the way it is nowadays, right? You're going to go find that best partner, the best room you can get into to improve yourself. So
it's and I know I think there's been some talk about that on the board too. Like that's probably the best for him. Like in his season, he's showing it. You gotta do what's best for your family and do what's best for your career. And but man, I think that was a good one, man. That's a really tough. Your phone right there. She looked at me like my phone was going off. Like I'm on the show.
Are we doing live phone calls? We're doing live. We got calling.
Calling guys.
Sticking with the call in.
Sorry. But I mean, for the team race, that's going to be huge. Not only this week, but next week. If I'm sure that when they're probably looking at medalist points for Haynes at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Semifinalist points.
And already losing Forster at sectionals didn't help anything either. So.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So going down next quarter bracket, Walter Hagedorn from Tell City, Will Jackson, Evansville North, Eli Stewart, another Madison Cub, and then Isaac Ash of Monrovia. Eli Stewart, TripleB trained.
Eli Stewart is TripleB trained, as a matter of fact. Hey, that Roughneck team back in the day was no joke. We had a bunch of good kids on there, but
you guys stole the Roughneck.
They're all just now starting to come up. I mean, we had some middle school state champions last weekend, Little B and some other guys. Garrett Doozer.
You guys stole that.
The river's rising. That's what we're saying right now in Madison, Joe. The river is rising.
Well, you guys stole the Roughneck name from Finley, just so you know.
We were trying to model ourselves after that Caprino cat we used to hear about all the time.
Yeah, yes.
Montrez Bates and Joe Caprino. We were trying to capture that.
Wow. So, what do you guys think about this? You got a 7-9 in the state and a 4-5. You guys actually agreed on this, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean that's tough. Like if you're Walter Hagedorn, and Evans was incredibly deep, and we're joking about it. We're saying it's one of the top 4 semi-states. Right now, it's probably the deepest semi-state. Like you're gonna have a guy that's 34-1. Tell City wrestles a pretty solid schedule, and you're gonna have a state semi-finalist in the ticket round.
Yeah,
but one of those guys aren't going to state, and honestly, if there was a wrestleback, one of those guys still might not be going to state because it's that guy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy.
We're talking about, wrestlebacks, and it's like, cool, man. That guy, but if I had a wrestleback, maybe I make it. It's like, I mean, that top quarter bracket had some pretty good guys in it, too.
Yeah. And Hagedorn's only loss is a Utah Hetty from Union County, Kentucky. So he hasn't lost to anyone in state yet, which.
I thought that dude used to be the quarterback at Notre Dame, then he went to that surfing. He went to the FBI and started surfing. That's not him?
No.
Down in Utah?
No. Going down, another good quarter bracket. Charlie LaRocca, Center Grove, Dakota Field, Switzerland County, Burke Eisenhower, Heritage Hills, and John Orman from Edgewood. So you're going to have a 5 and 17 potentially in the quarter.
Rocco's the heavy favorite. Burke Eisenhower, 41-4. A great year for Heritage Hills. Orman's, he's had a great couple of years even for Edgewood, but murder's row of brackets. I mean,
yeah. Burke Eisenhower, I believe, is Wyatt Ulry's only loss, correct?
Yes, that is. I just looked that up.
And John Orman, dude, he had an amazing tournament at Zionsville early on. I think he had a lot of that was one of the ones he was on the watch list, and it shot him up into the top 12. That's a good one right off the bat. But I mean, you're drawing into a senior state champ. That's pretty good. And he was kind of cruising last year, and then started peaking come state tournament time. And it looks like he's kind of peaking again. For some reason, my brackets didn't print 106 or 120, so I'm handwriting these out. So that's what you guys keep looking to the side.
So, last quarter bracket: Jaden Owsley, Corridon, Central. I got to work on my southern accent. Chase Klein of Avon, Tony Kessinger from Floyd Central, and then Brennan Hubbard from Mount Vernon Posey.
So, I say it wrong every time too, but I think it's Ousley. Ousley and Kessinger, I believe, are both Invicta kind of guys, so they're going to know each other really well. Chase Klein, 15 losses, but wrestling for Avon isn't anybody to look past. But I'm really interested. I think you'll see Kessinger, Ousley. I have Kessinger going on in the upset. I don't know, though. That's just kind of my homer pick. Like, I know the Kessingers, the Floyd guys really well. I feel like Tony gets it done. Again, though, you got 12th ranked guy, 23rd ranked guy, and then, a freshman from Avon who's probably got 15 legit losses. So I wouldn't be surprised if Chase Klein ends up punching his ticket that day.
Yeah, I think Jaden Ousley, shout out to Corridon Central, the original state capital, right?
Yes.
That's
right.
That's a throwback from the old Carl Hungus preview days. That's one of the things I ever learned out of those. I grew up in Illinois, so we learned Illinois history. Jaden Ousley, Chase Klein. Chase Klein's really good. 15, like TripleB said, like 15 losses. I wouldn't sleep on that, but he had a really good summer. I think he's a middle school state placer. If you're looking at that record and thinking, oh man, that's going to be a pushover, I don't think that's not an easy one. Kissinger, another really tough freshman. I thought he wrestled really well this summer too. That should be a good tick around. If you went Kissinger, I'll go Ousley.
Kessinger and Ousley, right? That's how I think you say it.
Yeah.
Ooh. Going down the next quarter bracket, 126, Peyton Richards, Switzerland County, 42-0, against Peyton Fetscher from Wrights, George Filler of Bedford. Man, this is a name bracket. And then Luke Rio. Not a good draw for Mr. Richards, coming in undefeated to semi-state again.
So Peyton Richards' career record's 84-1, and his one loss was in the ticket round to Eddie Goss last year. Another Roughneck OG. He started in our Roughneck program before Switzerland County got going. I'll be homering for him for sure, but yeah, a tough draw with Luke Rio there. But let's go Peyton, man. Get it done Saturday. Beat Switzerland County's hopefully second qualifier if Ethan gets through, but obviously Rio's would be the heavy favorite.
Yeah, huge win for Braylon Reynolds at the regional. Kind of reversed a couple losses to Luke Rio. Peyton, what is it, Fetticher? Is there two of them, right? I seen that they were having really good years. I think there's one at 32 also. Maybe he didn't make it. Yeah, that's a tough draw. Peyton Richards, but I think he's really talented. And I'm not just saying it because TripleB's on the show. Like, if you look at his freshman, sophomore results and his what he did this summer, he's putting in the work. Sometimes it's hard to lose that man. Like, undefeated guys are a little, he hasn't taken a loss all year. But, yeah, Luke Rio, he was a tick-arounder last year, right? Tough draw.
Yeah.
He lost to Jackson Heaston, who ended up, or not Jackson. Yeah, Jackson Heaston, who ended up a state runner-up. That was his loss last year in the tick-around. It was, I think, a 5-4 match.
Yeah, Peyton Richards was a runner-up at freshman, sophomore. Don Brown, which we're about to talk about too. He had wins over Nick Anderson, Drew Walden, Cameron Straub. So pretty solid guys. So that'll be a good one. But I mean, I think I got Rio punching the ticket getting back through.
Going down, and this is just a brutal quarter bracket. Isaiah Schaefer, Mater Dei, having a real good junior year. Ryan Million from Franklin, Dom Brown from Center Grove, and then Nathan Bryan from Terre Haute South. Yeah, 3 rate guys there, and that's going to be kind of ugly.
Yeah, Isaiah Schaefer, I said Caleb earlier, but Isaiah Schaefer is our first Ford Tough lock, which says a lot. considering the quarter bracket he even has to get out of to get even to the semis. So Don Brown's had a great year for Center Grove. He was he state qualifier last year?
Yeah, he was state qualifier for Lowell.
Yeah, so 2 state qualifiers going at it in the ticket round.
Yeah, Nate Bryan really solid year. Lost the regional last week to Flynn Douglas. So Flynn Douglas put himself in a better spot. Look at the bracket. Don Brown, really solid. I know Center Grove. One of the crazier things was Center Grove came there last year with some really tough draws and killed the semi-state. Like, that was probably like one of the most impressive things as that's going on through the day, and you're getting those text messages about all the matches that Center Grove's winning, and they're getting these coin flip matches and they're winning those. This is going to be a tough draw, but Don Brown wrestles a style similar to what Ashton Jackson wrestled last year, and he wrestled Schaefer in the quarters. He's gonna slow. He definitely slows down the match. He's pretty strong. He's a Howe kid. He comes up to the region and still trains. Shout out to his brother, also Daniel Brown, middle school state champ.
Yeah.
Who?
I think Schaefer beat Brown. I watched that match today. Brown shot in. Schaefer got him in a cradle, and it was lights out pretty quick at Team State. So,
who's Schaefer's other loss to? I know it's one of the Rainey brothers, but I did not see that he has a second loss. Did he lose by like an injury default or something? I did not see that he had lost yet.
I did not see him losing either. Just a Rainey.
You know, or it was in Tennessee, I bet. Yeah, it was out of state in Tennessee. I will tell you here in a second. No, it was not.
Maybe it's a typo. I'm sure they'll tell us in the comments in a second.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his. He had what was his record going into? You know what?
Both losses were to Rainey.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I was just gonna say. Okay, now I feel better. So I got to put that in there. Anyway. Okay. Yeah. Great.
Thank you, Sean Thacker, for that.
Yes, I was just looking through their results, and then I saw that they'd wrestled them twice. So next. Bottom half of the bracket, Braylon Reynolds, Brownsburg freshman, tough as nails. Finally got like the 6 times a charm against Rio at the right time. So, and that put him in a real good spot. He has Cameron Fogel from Southridge, not Northridge. Mason Suits from Mount Vernon, Posey, and then Gage Rutan from Columbus East.
I mean, Reynolds is just tough. His dad's heavy into Red Cobra. He's been training forever. Good kid. Like, I've been on some trips. His dad will pull, when Little B was like biting ankles, his dad would grab Little B and show him bad stuff he did in a match. I mean, just a really good family. Works all the time. Like, Braylon's putting in all the work to get the success that he's earning right now for sure.
Yeah, he's really talented. Every time I've watched him, I've been really impressed. He's had his 9 losses. We talked about it on one of the Gorilla radios. He's still ranked 4. He has 9 losses. His losses are 3 to Luke Rio, Isaiah Schaefer, 2 to Landon Hawkins, 2-0 and 5-2. The 5-2 match was like an unbelievable scramble match. And then 2 to Seth Mendoza, and then a kid from Oklahoma in 7 victory. Not too bad. Not too bad of a season for Mr. Braylon Reynolds. Cameron Fogel is having a really good year too, a senior. I know he was right on the cusp of rankings. Gage Rutan, Coop does a great job just getting guys super solid. Those guys wrestle a ton, and then when they come to Al Smith, I'm always impressed about how high a level those guys are. I was really impressed with Gage. Is it Rutan or is that how you say Rutan?
Yeah, I think it's Rutan.
I like that. I like that guy. And he'll be back. And like I said, I was really impressed with the Mouse Mouth, but that's a tough one. Reynolds is really good, and he's really good on top.
Yeah, the last quarter bracket, number 9 and 11 in the semi-state, Finn Douglas and Floyd Central, Keegan Murray Greenwood, and then John Stivers from the Jefferson Red Devils, and Eli Hedges from Heritage Hills took his first loss as a freshman So really wide open bracket right here. About the only one that doesn't have a state rank guy.
Yeah, so first, I don't know what Brandon Sisson's done to get all these favorable rankings, but you had Kessinger in the last avoided all the murderers at 20 or at 20, and now Finn Douglas with a pretty favorable draw at 26. But any of these guys, man, I mean, Keegan Murray from Greenwood, part of the Mooresville Regional. I think I put in my thing, John Stivers from Jeff. Those Jeff guys are always just one headlock away. And then Eli Hedges to be 16-1 as a freshman for Heritage Hills that says a lot about what kind of a wrestler you are. So, I mean, that's really a flip bracket. Like anybody could win that bracket for sure.
Yeah, I mean, somewhere Sisson smiling. We got a happy Sisson somewhere. Probably jump roping. Probably doing a little jump rope, get a little jump rope in. My guy got fit though, right? Quinn Douglas, I think he was out last year with injury, right?
Yeah.
His dad was pretty good. That's his dad, right? Thaddeus?
Yep. Yeah, his dad was Thaddeus. A runner-up or third for Columbus North?
Yeah, I think he was a third placer. I think he lost to John Sheets in the semis. Might have been 2000.
That sounds right, yeah.
I think he was a Fargo All-American that year too. So good spot for him, man. He took care of business, got that win over Nate Bryan. That put himself in a good position. I know when people talk about bad draws, sometimes it works out, but all you can do is take care of business. He took care of business, put himself in a good spot to qualify for state. Maybe punch his team a ticket and then have to get voted in for Team State.
That's right, yeah. I'll have to find a new team to politic for next year.
You might have to move a little bit north. I know who you're gonna be trying to get in. The Cubs.
Who's that? Not maybe the year after. Well, let those 8th graders come in, but I don't know. They'll have enough next year. Do you get points if you have a middle school state champ? Can I get them points when they come right in out of the gate?
Yeah, I'm pushing for that. I feel like we have especially now, like those guys are coming in and making an impact. You should be able to come in and make a push for that. I think you put it in your bio sheet.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys are in the mix, I mean, the good thing is if those guys, if you're a freshman, do well, and any other guys that improve a lot, you have a good start of the season, you might be in the mix there, and then you're gonna be man. That's gonna be a show when you're out there ranting and raving for Madison to get on.
If you don't have,
I've done it before. There's been at least twice Madison's got hosed on Team State, and I've come on here and done it to no ado. I mean, literally teams that we beat walk into Team State. Whatever. Don't get me going down that path. We're on a good headspace tonight, Joe. Let's not go down that way.
But yeah, I think you guys don't have the problem that probably the county has and what the region has is those guys. It's a little bit tough for them to put down where their middle school kids are going.
There's no signing days down in the South. You just go wherever you wake up at. I mean,
yeah, you're gonna have pulling out hats and T-shirts.
I was going to ask when they do that, they're talking about doing that NIL cap. Will that affect Crown Point, or will they not fall under that NIL cap when they put it in place with the NCAA? Like, will they dodge that? Or
they're going to have to keep under the radar a little bit.
Nice. Oh, jeez. 132, Josh Ditto from Terre Haute South having a great season. 32-2, Eli Theobald from Providence. Quentin Sheff from Avon, and Grant Volker from Mater Dei. You got 10-16, and should be a good match there.
Yeah, I mean, Dido's been close. I mean, I feel like we've talked about him for the last 2 or 3 years now. So he got the regional championship. He's having a great year. Quentin Sheff's not the best draw you could get. Grant Volker, we can't even look past him. Like, he's had as a sophomore, 27 for Mater Dei, he's had some good wins this year. This is the first weight class that I personally had with the Mooresville 4 get through. I've seen in the comments, like, every weight class, those Mooresville fools think all 4 are getting through. But this is the first one where TripleB has said the Mooresville 4 get through. Chef's a hard out. Dido's a hard out. Volker's a hard out. So that should be a good, even though despite rankings, should be a good quarter bracket.
Yeah. Dido, and I haven't got to see him live, but they say he's really exciting to watch. I know he had a really good IPO where he beat Jackson Foodie, he beat Preston Hammond, lost to Eddie Goss 5-4. Quentin Sheff had a really good IPO too, so I think his ranking. I believe Quentin Sheff beat Sonny Sessa there, but I think that's gonna be a good one. But I think I said it yesterday. Both of those teams have a lot of guys still going. It's a lot easier to like train and prepare when your whole team's still practicing.
Yeah.
And if you get Avon gets on a roll and they start getting big wins, like you get the momentum going, and you got two Rios there that are pretty good. But if Rio drops a match at 26, maybe that floods over, and then Dudo is going to be the guy riding the momentum. So I think that one's tough. I think everyone talks about being individualized, but you definitely feel that as like your teammates are going through. You don't want to be the guy that drops it. I think you see a lot of teams that. Dude, we talked about with Center Grove last year. Like, you didn't want to be the guy that wasn't going to qualify. Like, everyone was qualified. It was crazy. It's like one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, and they had the same kind of run at state, even in the first round, and then even in the semi or quarters and stuff. And they were rolling, and they were beating some guys that maybe if they didn't have that momentum, if it was just a regular individual tournament where those guys they weren't riding that momentum, they might not have won. So yeah. That's exactly right.
I remember. I made a taco bet last year, and about, what was it, 60? Where?
It was 52. It was after the break.
Yeah,
it was after
52,
the first.
I was like, oh, man, like, they just took down every single one. I might have to go buy these guys tacos.
Luckily.
Fort Wayne, Carol of Fort Wayne held it down for me.
Yeah, Jackson Todd.
The
taco man. We just forever call him the taco man. He brought you some tacos.
I was so relieved. I didn't even celebrate. I was just relieved. I made a lot of bets on that last year too.
Taco bets, that is. So Cohen Long, Columbus North. Is he TripleB trained?
He is an OG TripleB trained. I promise you, I'm not even making that up. Like Cohen used to wrestle for the Roughnecks. He was part of the OG Roughneck squad. Eli Stewart, Pittman, Bentz, Long, Doozer. You'll hear all those names, but yeah, he used to be with us. Go Cohen Long.
I think you said it before on the show. In Columbus, you get to choose what high school you go to, right? So, I
think they've changed. It used to be open enrollment in Columbus. I think they've maybe have changed that in the last year or two, but yeah, it used to be open enrollment.
That's crazy. Long has Trey Hopkins from Bloomington North, Asa Spencer, North Posey against Eddie Goss of Center Grove. Your TripleB training guy wins regional and gets about the most brutal draw you could get.
That's kind of becoming a common theme right now.
Yeah.
Maybe the mayor isn't the mayor.
I'm the mayor of the Jeff Regional. We can stick that, I guess. We got that going.
I thought Danny Struck was the mayor of Jeffersonville.
I said Jeff Regional. He's the mayor of Jeffersonville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And any comments on this quarter bracket?
I mean, again, I'll be rooting for Cohen. It's a hard way to go against Eddie Goss. But you know what, man? That's why we wrestle at semi-state. I mean, we talked earlier about Jared Dunn. Headlocks, anything can happen. So if all of our straight picks make it, I'll be shocked. And if all the favorite guys win, like, I'd be shocked equally. So that being said,
Yeah, Eddie Goss is a gamer, man. I do like Eddie Goss. I think his stare down with Hayden DeMarco at the Al Smith was probably one of the cooler things. Like they literally went nose to nose. I'm like reading it off and I'm like concentrating, man. I have paper in front of me, concentrating. And I hear everyone going crazy. I'm like, did I say something weird? I look up and these dudes are like right in the center of the mat, like just trash talking. So.
Oh wow.
I don't know if that's going to be if he gets to the finals, if he's going to pull that out of the bag, if he used it, or maybe that was a DeMarco thing. But it was hype.
Yes. So then going down the last half bracket, Jake Hockaday, two-time returning state champion, Andrew Barfield from Evansville Memorial, Amiron Pratt of Bloomington South, and Kellen Carter from the Scottsburg Warriors.
I like Kellen Carter. I think he was injured last year. I think he had a really good season. I think he had some good wins this summer too. That's again, I mean, that's not the draw you want as a runner-up. Probably, I mean, it's a pretty tough weight overall. Like, there's a lot of talented guys there. I mean, you got to wrestle a guy that's gone to state twice so far and won both of them. And last year, he knocked off a guy going for his third. And then this year, he's in the same weight as a guy that's going for a second. So, Jake's a lot of fun to watch. He's really, really good.
It's just, I mean, it's the way of the semi-state, right? Because Carter, you're talking about, he had Tommy John surgery, missed his whole junior year. I think his dad was telling me he wrestled like 70 matches when he got cleared in like April or May. Went everywhere, all over the place. Trained like crazy. Had a great, actually, he has 2 losses. His one loss was injury default. He got concussed, I believe, in the finals of Jeff Classic. So he was really kind of, you know, quote, undefeated, unquote. And then Cohen got him in the finals at the Jeff Regional. Cohen and Kellen went to elementary school together at Scottsburg, so there's a little bit there also. But Kellen's had a great year, great career. Terrible draw for Kellen getting Hockaday in the ticket round, though. I mean, you can't really pick against the Hawk at this point.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. In the last quarter bracket, Jaden Still-Wagner from Mount Vernon, Keith Parker, Ben Davis, returning state qualifier, Keegan Joachim from Franklin Community, and Hunter Bannett from Floyd Central. Another Floyd Central guy got actually put about almost the best possible spot. So we need to talk to Sisson, man. He knew the draws ahead of time.
Danny should talk to Sisson. I mean, Danny should be trying to pull these draws out for his guys. Sisson keeps landing them all. But a quarter bracket, I mean, Parker's the favorite, and I talked earlier about this is the first bracket where I had the Mooresville 4 advancing. But still, Wagner's had a great year for Mount Vernon. They don't wrestle an easy schedule. Hunter Bannett for Floyd. You know, obviously we know about Floyd's schedule. And Hunter's got some big moves. And then Parker, the returning state qualifier. But I think all 3 of those guys received votes. Parker was the favorite. But maybe another quarter bracket to kind of keep an eye on.
Yeah, and I don't think you can look past Joaquin. Like, you know, Tante's going to have those guys ready to go.
Yeah. 138, Chase Stevens, Tell City. Number 11 in the semi-state, Blaine Falkenberg. Number 22, Caleb Kirkpatrick, Columbus East. And number 16, Camden Bowman from Mater Dei. That's gonna be a fun one right there. I'm sure the pickers are all split here.
I think Stevens got a majority of the picks, but gotta say that now that I look like there's tons of people that got picks at 38. But Stevens is the favorite there, returning state qualifier. I mean, just so good, so physical. I reffed at the Jeff Duels back in December, and he was there. Just, I mean, he's really, really good. He's the real deal. So I think Chase kind of wins that quarter bracket for sure.
I agree with that. I think Camden Bowman's really good. I was impressed with Caleb Kirkpatrick. I think that'd be a good match right off the bat. Both those guys really, really talented sophomores. So I mean, you guys are not going to be lacking depth down the road. But yeah, Stevens is really good. I think I kind of slept on him last year a little bit. Like he wasn't ranked as high, and this year he's done a really good job.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes, right? Like last year I was getting messages all the time about Chase, you know, and until he beat the East kid in the ticket round, like that's kind of what cemented, and he stuck his flag in the ground, and he's earned that respect ever since. So it just takes wins. I know people say, like, what do I do to get my kid ranked? Like, it takes wins against ranked kids to get your kids ranked. And Chase Stevens is the perfect example of that. Like, he had a great sophomore year, but until he racked up a couple wins late in the season, you know, we weren't able to kind of push him forward. So that's what it takes.
And his only loss is to Jake Hockaday, so.
Not bad. And it was a decision, right? If I remember, that's where I was reffing at that day.
14-7.
Yeah.
It was a decision. And Hockaday would love to have 3-point takedowns. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
So, next quarter bracket, Brady Eisen from Brownsburg, Aiden Muncie from Terre Haute North, E.J. Rainey from Mount Vernon, and Lane Kirshner from Jennings County. Ison, probably a pretty heavy favorite here.
Yeah, I mean, Ison's a super heavy favorite. The only other person I'm familiar with is Lane Kirshner. Kirshner's had a really good year. Kind of following and Justice Thornton, trying to pick up those wins there, and he keeps getting stuck behind Justice. But Ison's, hands down the heavy favorite there.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I'm sure Ison's, what does he have? 2 medals, going for a third, and lost Friday night 2 years ago.
Yep.
Was a state final under the lights last year.
Yeah.
I would say he's pretty good favorite there. He's found a way to get to the semi-state, a pretty tough semi-state a couple times.
Yeah.
So, bottom half of the bracket, Landon Horning from Evansville Memorial, Dawson Slaughter. Is his father Sergeant Slaughter?
Maybe grandfather at this point, right? I mean, Slaughter's up there.
I guess so.
He might be great grandfather.
William Vanderlugaten from Center Grove, and Noah Fields. So you got a SEP 14 and 20 possibly here, and 5 and 6 in the
Ben Dalton, the
state.
Bandit's watching. So
Who's watching?
Ben Dalton, the Bandit.
Uh-oh. We better behave.
I like Landon Horning. I think he's really good. Vandal Garen's had some really good wins. He had a really good win over Seth Syra. I thought he had a nice Al Smith. Wrestling that schedule, being 32 and as a sophomore, he's pretty slick on his feet. I think he can wrestle with a lot of guys on his feet, and I'm sure of his 8 losses, he's got some pretty good ones. I'm sure he's seen Ison a couple times. I think he's seen Shep a couple times.
Yeah, I agree. I have Vander Lugarden coming through. He had the good win over Sierra. Horning's had a good. And it's another one where it depends on what part of the state you're in, where you get who's going to win that match. So, but I think Vander Lugarden's a fair. And that's kind of early. We were talking about rankings when Vander Lugarden beat Sierra. I messaged Mike and I was like, "What are you going to do with that?" And we kind of went back and forth. And I'm like, I'm going to do the opposite of what you're doing." So I don't remember what it was now. I just remember I did the opposite of what Mike was going to do, just to cause chaos in the rankings. So
yeah, and then people are so then I'll get a message like, Dustin did this. I'm like, I know because I talked to him about it.
Yeah, that's the Memorial doesn't get quite. They used to come up north for didn't they come to the Zionsville tournament or something? They used to come up north a little bit. I want to say they used to be. And it used to get a little bit better reading on them, but now they've kind of hidden themselves in that southwest corner of Indiana, and it's kind of hard to tell sometimes. Some of these guys coming out of there when they don't venture out of their.
They come to the elite. They come to the elite Nick Shaddy Memorial at Madison, Indiana. So give them props for that.
Nice. So. And not the now defunct Cub Classic.
Not the defunct Cub Classic, nope.
Pour one out for our homies at the Cub
That's
Classic.
top secret. You can't be sharing those secrets yet.
Oh, sorry. Well, we'll edit that out. Going down, we got Justice Thornton. Good article on him just posted this evening from the Bulldogs of Columbus North. Eli Mays from Boonville. Vince Kessinger from Floyd Central, and Seth Syra, the aforementioned. So we got a real good quarter bracket here. Another one kind of wide open.
My cats are down here fighting if you guys hear.
It's a rematch. It's a ticket round rematch, which I don't know if I've ever remember having a ticket round rematch. But last year, Thornton Sierra was a ticket round match. Thornton won 6-3. He was up 4-3 right at the end, and Sierra kind of went for it all and gave up a late takedown to lose 6-3. And then I believe Sierra pinned him at IPO. So, and then Sierra beat him before that, 1-0. So Sierra holds the 2-1 advantage over Thornton, but Thornton got the one that counted. That was the ticket round last year. So we'll see Saturday how that holds up. Can Thornton get another ticket round match? Does Sierra keep the momentum kind of going? That's a really good ticket round match where they've wrestled 2 or 3 times. That don't happen a lot in the South. Everybody's so spread out, but these guys have wrestled several times, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting draw. And like, what are the chances that you're getting those back-to-back years in your ticket round? You know,
If you can predict brackets,
crazy.
you're usually pretty good with that.
that's what I heard. I heard those guys predicting brackets all the time. Sarah and Kissinger will be that's a 2 ranked guys first round. Sarah, I believe, has a pin over him this year. So, yeah, set up a pretty interesting one. I like that. I like Ison to win the entire bracket.
Yeah, I think Ison was a 4 tough lock. I'd have to look. We had 8 4 tough locks this year. So
Dang,
we
you guys
kinda
are
get
all
going
the
in
same.
little weights.
Yeah. Zach Froelich.
They just said Hagedorn Ash is also a repeat. Hagedorn Ash was a tick around match last year at 113 and could potentially be this year at 120 also. So
Man, you guys are running them back.
it's like they don't ever change the formulas or anything.
So 144. We're almost to our ad read break. Branson Weaver, Owen Valley, Josiah Green of Columbus North, Jordan Jewell of Greenwood, and Alexander Mercer. Weaver in a good spot for Owen Valley. Owen Valley doesn't get very many qualifiers. I'd have to see when they had one last year, didn't they? So
Yeah,
Weaver's
yeah,
returning
Branson
qualifier.
Weaver.
yeah, last year.
I was saying, I thought Branson Weaver was a returning state qualifier. I look at my notes.
Yep, he was.
Man,
He was the first one in a while. That's why I was.
So
Yeah.
everybody's going to talk about Reese Courtney. Everybody's going to talk about Parker Reynolds and the 1 and the 2. And then Weaver's kind of there. 38-0, undefeated. If anybody can fly under the radar at 38-0, it's been Branson Weaver. I talk about a little bit in the preview, like, could Weaver come out and surprise everybody and win the day Saturday? Like, maybe. I'm not saying he can't, but nobody probably has the, like, where they've all wrestled each other, they know each other. Weaver can kind of slide in and not have that kind of going for him or whatever. So why Courtney and Parker Reynolds are the heavy favorites in this weight class. Like, if Weaver were to win Saturday, like, it would be something that typically happens in Evansville once a year, where a dude shows up, wins, and walks out the door, and everybody's like, what the heck just happened? Like, that could be Branson Weaver Saturday, and I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be surprised either. He's really talented. Jordan Jewell, really good too. I thought he had a nice freshman-sophomore year. Freshman-sophomore state. Mercer had a good year for Harrison. Shout out. What's Harrison's? We haven't got a lot of Evansville Harrison guys in here yet.
Harrison, the Harrison, I don't know. That's a good one. So, Dustin, when was the last state placer from Owen Valley? Let's see. What year?
I had a heavyweight or 220-pounder, right? Like, just 2 or 3 years ago. Not that long ago.
Oh, shoot. I just closed it. Hold on. I'm checking out Evansville Harrison are the Warriors.
They're black and red. Yeah.
Man, you get throw a dart on the wall and got a warrior, man. There's a lot of warriors out there.
So, the last state placer, they didn't. Not a couple years ago. They had not had one for a while.
Huh.
1988.
I thought they had a
Matt Morin.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, Eli, you thinking of Henshaw? There's McBee,
Yeah, I was thinking
Henshaw. There's a website for all this. Yeah, Morin was there last at 145 in 1988. He was a state champion. So, anyway, going back down, got a good quarter bracket. Caleb Cooper from Columbus East, having a good sophomore year. Antoine Webster from New Albany. Zach Bulkley of Mount Vernon Posey. And then the number 2 in the state, Parker Reynolds. Everyone has a number. Only one gets to survive, though.
So, obviously Parker Reynolds is the favorite, but Webster Cooper is a rematch of the Hoosier Hills Conference championship match. It was a 4-2 Cooper match, so that could be a pretty good opening round match there in that bracket.
I think they got Webster into the on the state watch list. That match alone, like sometimes like wins will get you on there, and sometimes just wrestling good guys tough will get you on the watch list too.
any other? I mean, obviously
Parker Reynolds is really good, man. I know we ran that article early on about his how he's battled injuries, and I know he's got a battle. I haven't seen him since Team State. I know he's battled some injuries there. I know he took a tough loss in the ticket round last year. I hope that he's healthy, and I hope he's able to give it a run. It looked like that match with Courtney was pretty tight at regional. Those guys got a nice little rivalry going.
Yeah. So going down that last half bracket, Deacon Dressler from Gibson Southern, freshman, regional champ. Brevin Cannon from Pike, Caden Hauser of Floyd Central, and Gabe Rose of Switzerland County. You know, and that Floyd Central kid, you weren't expecting probably to be in a spot that, I mean, about as good of a spot as you're going to get in that bracket. And look, Sisson does it again. We won't be saying that the next week, though.
I think.
No, that's right. He cashed everything in on that one-way class.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He got his 17-11 guy actually put in about as good of a spot as you can. And
we got some pretty talent. I think the South is doing really well. And they have some really talented clubs that are helping a lot of these guys. I think Deacon Dressler is a Maurer Coughlin kid, right?
Yeah,
real tough.
Yeah, we were joking earlier. I think you and I were joking some time ago about Schaefer needs to quit letting these Maurer Coughlin kids get away to the other schools. I mean, Dressler's really good.
Because all the guys that wrestled for Maurer Coughlin this summer that were placed in middle school state and ISWA, I was just putting them in Mater Day's lineup and how are they going to fit all these guys in?
I think the first month of the year, Dressler was Mater Day ranked.
Yep.
So Mom sends us an email. Hey, he's at Gibson Southern. Like, hey.
Brevin Cannon, I believe he's a Red Cobra kid. He's Chad Red trained. So that could be a good one off the bat. I think that Mooresville Regional was pretty solid. But I think
Cannon will be the shocker there because Dressler, I got lots of texts, and I know from my son being around that age, him and Deacon have wrestled, so I know Dressler. Dressler's really good. Gabe Rose was a TripleB guarantee last year that didn't come through, but he's 2-time semi-state qualifier, so this will be his third trip, so 3-time semi-state qualifier. So for Brevin Cannon to pull something out there wouldn't be totally crazy, and certainly an under-the-radar kind of Evansville-y type thing.
Then bottom quarter bracket gets kind of a little ugly. Reese Courtney, number 1 in the state, having a really good year. His only losses are out of state. Jackson Whitehead from Washington, the Hatchets. Owen Trimpey from Franklin, the Fighting Tantes. And then Wyatt Cooksey from Bloomington South. Didn't get quite the best draw possible. Number 13 in the state.
No, he got a bad draw, but he's just been stuck behind Weaver all year, man. They've had some good matches. I'm trying to pull up their results right now. They haven't been blowouts in Weaver's favor. He's had wins every time they've wrestled. I wouldn't be surprised if 5 of 6 of those losses were to
3. 2-0, 4-0, 8-6. So yeah, he had an 8-6 at regional. That's tough.
Yeah, but Cooksey's young, man. He's a sophomore. He's good, but is he Reese Courtney good? I don't know, but Courtney obviously is the favorite there with Cooksey kind of chasing down Cooksey Courtney kind of match there in the ticket round.
Isn't it crazy? I know that there was they were talking about 144 wide open weight, and everyone's they're gonna give it to Hybert, right? Everyone's Hybert's gonna win it, and everyone's on there new Prairie kid taking it down. And Courtney is still in the weight. That's who beat Hybert last year. He was under the lights.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of an under the radar really good guy, and he's just solid. I think he's just solid in every position. He's solid on top, solid on bottom, really good defense. I think Reese Courtney's really good. Owen Trempy had a really good win over Michael Ortega at the Trikoff. I believe that's what won them that Portage duel that kind of pushed them into the front. And then Wyatt Cooksey had one of the coolest matches at Al Smith with Zara Walker. A lot of action, a lot of oohs and ahs. I think there were some people that felt that there was a fall there. It was close. I mean, I was far away. I'm not on the mat. But they definitely gave Zara some boos when he won. But Cooksey and Trimpy should be good. And then, that's a tough one, man. But Cooksey got some big moves. He had Zara with a pretty good headlock.
Yeah. 150. pretty good weight class here. Number 1, Wyatt Krejcia, having a real good year, just dominating people. He gets Zane Skinner, not the best Skinner draw. Cale Bodenberger from Evansville North, and then Michael Nedai from Edgewood. Krejcia having a real good year, just absolutely looks like he's one of the most dominant in the state right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be hard to pick against Krejcia there. Props to Zane Skinner for getting to the semi-state. He's had a great state tournament run, but that draw is a tough draw to get. And then I've heard lots of good things about Cale Bonneberger. Hopefully, maybe we'll get to see him and Krejcia wrestle, but I think him and Nedig will be a good first-round matchup there. I've heard lots of good things about Nedig. I've gotten messages about both of them this year. But to be 35-3 out of Evansville, you're a pretty good wrestler.
Yeah, he had some really good offseason results too. That's just an unfortunate draw. I think Krejcia's probably top 3 best pound-for-pound guys in the state. Like, I've been really impressed of how good he is. And I thought he was really good 2 years ago, and he got beat by Anthony Ball in the quarters, and then he reversed that to go to the lights this past year. And then now it's just like, it's even like he stepped it up even a further level. Like, I thought he was good at Delta. Then I thought he was like pretty good as a sophomore, really good as a junior, and I think he's like one of the top dudes in there. Krejcia's a C-Red trained guy too. I did not know that. It's a pretty good guy to train with.
So next one, we got a matchup of 2 ranked guys right off the bat. Nate Anderson, Columbus East. Griffin Sanders from Mooresville. Luke Forsyth of Terre Haute South. And then Alex Smith from Heritage Hills. 3 guys that are ranked, and looks like they're all in order, so that's a good thing. Of course, the highest ranked one is the champ.
No, the highest ranked one's Smith, right? Runner up.
Well, I mean, I guess lowest ranked. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a good quarter bracket. Anderson's had a great year. Griffin Sanders from Mooresville to get through the Mooresville Regional with 4 losses says a lot. And then Alex Smith, it's crazy he's a junior. It seems like Alex Smith's been around for a minute, but he had a rough semi-state last year. He had the Jeff kid. He got headlocked 2 or 3 times in that ticket round match. He was a favorite. I think we had him as a favorite last year. So I think Smith does get through this year, but again, that's another one where if Anderson gets through, I'm not surprised. Sanders gets through, I'm not surprised. No disrespect to Luke Forsyth, just looking at rankings. And then, again, I think Smith would be the favorite there, though.
Yeah, I agree with that. But, I also, I think I wouldn't be shocked to see Nate Anderson pull that through. I think Coop gets his guys ready to go. And there's always a couple Columbus East guys that make it through. And I'm like, man, why did we pick against him? Because he always does a good job of getting his guys prepared.
Yeah, yep.
So the bottom half of the bracket, another doozy. Tyler Vanover, Mater Dei. Chris Furman from Forest Park. Emmanuel from Pike. And Cameron Summers from Franklin Community. Vanover survived the ugly draw. We'll go over that one in a second here.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
I really
Vanover's
like
a favorite.
Tyler
I mean, one of those modern day guys that, 33-2, and people's like, who's Tyler Vanover? And then he'll be on the podium next week. You know what I mean? Potentially on the podium next week. So I think Vanover gets through.
I really like Tyler Vanover. I think he's really good. I know he had I believe he beat Reese Courtney last year at Team State. Lost him in the ticket round 3-2. Looking at that draw last year, I was like, that was a coin flip. I might have taken Vanover in that match. Then Courtney ran into the lights. I think he's kind of flying under the radar at 150, especially when you're talking about the Evansville semi-state and how good it is, because you have some really talented guys. And we're about to talk about a couple of them next.
Yeah, and this is the one we kind of, once we started getting a good idea of the weight classes of everybody, this is one that we saw a mile away, and we're looking at hey, This might happen. This might happen. We hope it doesn't. And we got Hunter May, number 2 in the state, undefeated from Floyd Central. Logan Wargo, or from Evansville Rights, Luke Spurgeon. And then number 3, Tommy Gibbs. So number 2 and 3, Gibbs obviously lost to number 1, Kreja. And his reward is Hunter May. So that is going to be a barn burner. I know I will be trying to pull that one up during our ticket rounds.
I mean, what a crying shame that this match is happening in the ticket round. I mean, I don't know. It's wild. So, and another thing is, so on my previews, I do what's called the TripleB guarantee, and that is when I feel like my pickers have all lost their minds and they don't know what they're doing. So, pickers went with Gibbs, TripleB went with May, TripleB guarantee, Hunter May. I mean, how do you not pick a returning state runner-up to win a ticket round match? That's insane to me. And he's 20-0. It's not like he's had some losses this year. I mean,
yeah. It's a brutal draw, man, and that's what happens when you're really good at the semi-state level. You guys have a really good semi-state. You're going to run into some terrible draws, and it's going to have huge team point implications for Brownsburg, and they're going to have them ready, I'm sure. I think those guys do as good a job, if not one of the best jobs in the state, of getting game plans together for guys. So he'll have something available, but I mean, Hunter May has been in the state semifinals 2 years, 3 years, 2 years.
yeah, 2 years.
3 state
2
medals.
years.
Returning state runner-up.
Returning state runner-up. I mean, Tommy's sophomore. He was a backup last year, but he's incredibly good. He stays in good position. He's not going to beat himself, that's for sure.
Yeah.
My guy Chris Garcia, give me Gibbs by 4. He said the game plan.
Hey, Garcia better stay away from Bally's this weekend. He'll lose the house if he's saying Gibbs by 4. Holy smokes. So, Pete, put those guns away before you shoot somebody. That's insane.
Yeah. Just go to the poker tables with him, man. You're gonna be able to retire.
I mean, like, I think the guys in the chat are right. Like, you know, Gibbs has been wrestling a bunch, and been out hurt. But that is why Brownsburg wrestles that schedule. Mm-hmm. They wrestle that schedule so you're not like tight when you go wrestle that ticket round. Like, that's what they sell. Like, I hear it all the time from the Crown Point guys. I hear it all the time from the Brownsburg guys. We're gonna go wrestle the best schedule because when it comes down to it, we want our guys to know that we're prepared. And I know I talk with some Crown Point guys, and I'm sure they're gonna give me some nonsense. They're like, we got terrible draws at East Chicago, and Joe Stanley was like, hey man, like if you gave the same Crown Point guys the draws that Brownsburg has, like you'd be like, no way, man. Like if you're like, hey, Captor got Gibbs. If you said like, you know, Gendris has Henderson. If you said, and there was a couple other ones. I think 75 has a tough draw. I think, and it's just like, man, like those are really, really hard draws. Now, overall, like, are all the draws terrible? No, but that one's really tough. And if they have a wrestler back there, I would favor Tommy Gibbs to pull back through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or May. I'm not picking either one. Like on the show, I'll tell you guys off the air now.
You just picked Tommy, or you just picked Hunter May, right?
Yeah. It's hard to pick against a guy that's been in the finals.
Yeah, that is just absolutely brutal. And I know Derek was texting me, you know, one of the brackets, like, can you just make sure that those two guys don't wrestle? And when I got the brackets, that's like one of the first ones I looked for, and I just replied, brackets are up. Sorry.
Yeah. Three of the best 150s in the state, and one of them's going home.
Yeah.
In my ranking opinion, 3 of the best 150s in the state, and one of them's going to stay home. I think that's a flaw in the system.
Yeah. So, 157, Kill Hickok of Bloomington North, Cody Fitz of North Posey, Lucas Farmer from Cascade, and Elijah Geyer from Indian Creek. So, a couple lower numbers on the rankings here. So, pretty wide open. 2 freshmen right off the bat. That should be a good one. Actually, 3 freshmen in this quarter bracket, and then you got the senior. So, I'd probably pull for the senior, just one last go, and, you know, wrestling well right now.
Yeah, he's kind of dressing well, and Geyer's, I believe Geyer's a middle school state champ who's had, he's been behind Ratliff the last 2 weekends. Like I said in the preview, in a room full of Cougars, will he be the luckiest Cougar come Saturday? We'll have to see if he can punch through or not. But
yeah, I like Geyer. I like what Indian Creek's doing over there. They got some really good talent coming in, and they have some good younger guys. So I think they have some guys that are there already, and then Geyer coming in right now. That'd be a good one. I think Geyer was in the rankings, kind of dropped down a weight, and kind of been around in the probably 14 through 20 range. That's a good spot. But Hickok's good. We were on that same email where they were saying all of his wins, and it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's had a good year.
Yeah. Farmer took Geyer to OT last year in middle school state. Interesting. So that should be a good match right off the bat.
Hey.
You guys are familiar with each
There
other.
you go.
So Colton Schneider, Mount Vernon Posey, Mason Lubers from Forest Park, the Rangers, Lincoln Cooper, Columbus East versus Silas Stitz from Center Grove. He's one of the guys, I've said this a couple times, Stitz is probably one of the sneakier guys from Center Grove. I think he's had a real good season this year, and in a pretty good position to go back to state this year.
Yeah, imagine winning at one time the Castle Regional was one of the toughest regionals in the state. So to come out as the Castle Regional champ, you feel pretty good about yourself. To come out as the Castle Regional champ, 40-2, you feel pretty good about yourself. And then you got Silas Stitz in the ticket round. What a terrible, terrible, terrible draw for Colton Schneider. Awful.
Yeah, and right off the bat, Lincoln Cooper's pretty good too. 26-12 freshman, up at 57. He was one of the guys. I swear, when you told me he was wrestling 57, I was shocked because I think he was a middle school runner up at 32 or 30, and I
asked Coop if it was a misprint when they told me 57. You sure Lincoln's 57? They're like, yeah, he had a huge growth spurt between football and everything. So,
and it's gonna take time. We talk about guys jumping from 6 to 26, and it just takes time to adjust. You're a freshman where at 30 you might have been the strongest dude, and then you're jumping to 57 when you're wrestling some pretty strong dudes. So some of those losses were early on. I think he's pretty talented. But, yeah, Stitz is really good. I know Joe was really impressed after Ironman. But that was the one guy Joe was like, hey, man, he needs to move up the rankings. He's severely underranked.
Yeah. He looked good at Ironman and looked good all season long. Going down last half bracket, Asher Ratliff. I heard you don't like his dad, Dustin. Is that true?
Oh no! Don't be stirring all that. Me and Justin are deep. We're homies. We're boys.
He has Evan Hamlin from Martinsville, Caden Farmer from Mater Dei, and Noah Bannett from Floyd Central. So 3 ranked guys. Ratliff looking to be the quarterback of the Columbus North team and make his way to state here.
Tag AR-15, man. So Ratliff and Hamlin, not only is that a Barry Horowitz curtain jerker, it's also a terrible draw. You have a semi-state 3 versus a semi-state 4 right out of the gates. And if I remember right, Hamlin got hurt and injury defaulted out of regionals to that 4th place spot. They wrestled early in the year, super early in the year. Ratliff won 8-6. So Ratliff, my homer favorite, but I would keep an eye on that match. A 3 versus a 4, an 8-6 match the first time they wrestled. And the winner gets Noah Bannett potentially, who's not a bad wrestler in and of himself. Brigg and Justin are my 2 favorite text buddies. So to have those kids maybe wrestling in a tick around match, I might have to go hide somewhere.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. I was gonna say the 8-6 is tough. I'm not sure how hurt Evan Hamlin is. Hope he's able to go. Defaulting down to 4th, you're gonna draw into something that's pretty solid. And that's a tough one. But Asher's been right there. He's really good. Bannett's really tough. He's 36 in that schedule. Caden Farmer, junior from Mater Dei, 19-7. But I think that first round match, you're just gonna get some tough ones like that. That's gonna be brutal.
Hey, is Farmer part of the? And you guys don't know, I'm asking this kind of out. Is Farmer part of the Memorial Farmers? Wasn't there 2 Farmer brothers?
Yeah.
One of them got runner-up at heavyweight last year. Was he the other one?
I don't. Caden. There was another one, but I don't think it was Caden Farmer.
Yeah,
I think
they both graduated, I think, last year. But this could be I don't know if this is a long lost brother or what, cousin. Most people in Evansville are related to each other, aren't they? They're throwing daggers week before I'm going down there. So, last half bracket, Mason Day, Brownsburg. Brownsburg got a little bit of a. They got put in a good spot after the 150 bracket. Boomer Hester, that's a good name. Boomer Hester, son of Boomer Esiason and Devin Hester Devin
Hester getting the Hall of Fame, man.
Yeah. Jesus Lopez from Terre Haute South and Peyton Bell from Evansville North. So Day's in a really good spot to make his second trip to state.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out Boomer Hester, best name of the bracket I think that we'll come across today. And I just saw him last night. I ref Charlestown Madison Junior High and told him good luck. But the day draw is a tough draw. But yeah, like you said, after the last draw, Brownsburg gets a favorable draw here for Mason.
Yeah, Mason did himself a favor by winning the regional, beating Silas Stitz. Put himself in a good spot, man.
165. Oops, went too far. You got Connor Hoare from Evansville Memorial, Griffin Larson from Avon, Evan Savare of Columbus North, Coy Bender from Terre Haute.
Savory.
What is it?
Savory.
Savory.
Yep,
okay.
Evan Savory.
Okay, whatever. Coy Bender.
I promise, that's his name.
Coy Bender from Terre Haute South. So Bender in a good spot, having a real good junior season.
Yeah, Bender coming out. The only state ranked wrestler there. Connor Hoare, another kind of Evansville guy. You get 30 plus wins, you're pretty good. But Terre Haute South had a great year. They got some great wrestlers. I just feel like Coy would be the favorite in that bracket.
Yeah, Griffin Larson won a huge match to make it to semi-state. First round, he beat Sean Breedlove of Southern Grove, who's a real talented freshman. Connor Hoare was another guy we got a message about late. Just said, hey, kind of watch out. Like, he's wrestling really well.
Yeah.
And won a regional. So that'll be a good one. I've been really impressed with Coy Bender. Every time I watched him a lot on the videos for Team State when Terre Haute South was wrestling. I think he's pretty slick. I think he's a really good wrestler.
Bottom quarter right there, Jesse Daringer from Brownsburg put himself in a good spot, winning regional. Cooper Collins, Vincent's Lincoln, Evan Stancombe from Bedford North Lawrence, and Corey Fuller from Franklin Community. So Daringer in a real good spot to punch his ticket and possibly even make a run to the finals and help the Bulldogs out.
Yeah, I mean, I have Daringer in the finals there. Shout out to Bloomington, shout out to Bedford North Lawrence. I think they got a couple to semi-state this year. Good for them. Hopefully they're building things up. But yeah, I think Daringer. Daringer routed Bush, who we'll get to in a minute. But Daringer routed Bush in the finals.
Yeah, I have Daringer pulling through that. Corey Fuller's pretty solid too. I think that could be a match where there could be some fireworks. But I think like Daringer's a guy that kind of gets forgotten in that Brownsburg lineup. That he's pretty solid, and I think he gets overlooked a little bit.
Bottom half here, we got our guy Evan Rowdy Bush from Bloomington South. Rowdy Bush. That might be the best name. I'm gonna say if your name's Rowdy Bush, you better be tough and you better be mean. And I think he is.
Yeah.
There's so many different directions to go with a name like Rowdy Bush, but okay, keep going.
Miller Clayton. Got our two last names. Oh, it's two.
I'm pretty sure his name's Clayton Miller, and it's been messed up the whole state tournament. If there's not from Columbus watching, I mean, I'm not crazy in that his name's Clayton Miller, and that it got messed up early in the state tournament.
That's Cooper. Does Cooper know how to type? Does he know the difference?
Nah, man, he's a superstitious guy. If the name's messed up, you keep advancing. You don't change it until you're done.
Yeah. I'll have to double check that then, because I probably created a Miller Clayton profile too. Matthew Pegram from Evansville North, and David Aboide from Decatur Central. So got 2 ranked guys, and then 19 and 21, and then they get Rowdy Bush in the blood round, ticket round, whatever you want to call it.
It's the blood round, right? Blood round.
Yes.
Bode and Pegram, good first round match. You hear Pegram's another guy we kind of heard about late in the year, Mike. David's a guy that kind of came on the radar last year. I mean, 2 good kids, but just that terrible draw. I've talked in the preview about how Bloomington South always has like that guy that's going to be the lock, that guy that's going to go to state, that guy's going to place high, and this year that's Evan Rowdy Bush.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Evan Rowdy Bush at Al Smith. He wrestled really well. David Aboide, I think that's a guy that they always said ultra athletic, super athletic kid. I think Matthew Pegram had a really good summer too. I know that'll be a good one off the bat, but Rowdy Bush is he a Ford lock?
Yes, Rowdy Bush is a Ford lock.
Rowdy Bush.
Yeah, the last quarter bracket, Oliver Hallett from Indian Creek having a real good sophomore year, 34-1. Jeremiah Casillas from Bloomington North, Gage Eccles from Ben Davis, and Spencer Turner from Evansville Mater Dei. 3 ranked guys there. That should be a pretty good quarter. Or actually, 4 guys that are ranked. Should be a real good quarter bracket.
Yeah, I mean, Eccles is good. Spencer Turner's had a good year. I think Hallett and Guy are kind of the guys that, going back to Guy, the guys are going to kick off this Indian Creek run. They got a really good middle school program, really good elementary program. I have Hallett getting through, but not saying Eccles won't. I mean, that's a 2 versus the 3 semi-state kid potentially. If Eccles gets past Turner in the ticket round, that's a meets the qualifications of a terrible draw.
Yeah, I think I agree. Hallett's been having a really good season. I think Indian Creek's really building some good momentum going there. They have some really talented guys coming in. They have some talented younger guys there. Turner Eccles right off the bat would be good. And I think we kind of talked about momentum. If Mater Dei can kind of get on a run, that might help him sway into that match with Hallett.
175.
I'm so excited. Indian Creek's been sent to the Jennings County Sectional too, by the way. Like, thanks IHSA and everybody for doing that. Like, that's super cool as a Madison guy that we've sent Indian Creek and Franklin all the way down to the Jennings County semi-state or Jennings County Sectional. Might be the most dumbest move in the history of the alignment. So good job. Congratulations on that.
Would you like to comment on the Jennings County versus Jeffersonville Sectional?
No.
No, okay.
46 versus 10. Hey, so I will say something, man. I think unfairly that Jeff Sectional gets thrown under the bus, but what's happened is Coach Struck and some of those guys, they've went out and built up programs in that area, programs maybe nobody that's listened to this broadcast has heard of: Clarksville, Rock Creek, Borden, Silver Creek, North Harrison,
Henryville.
To name like 5 that just comes right to the top of my head. Well, then when you build these programs, they need a sectional to go to. So then they get stuck in that sectional, which then pushes kind of other teams out. And you can kind of go back and forth about where New Albany and Floyd and all these teams should go. And that's a good conversation to have. But it's kind of the downside of building your area up. Like when you build your area up and you're trying to develop programs, then those programs need a place to go, which then waters down your sectional. I was at Charlestown last night, and I was talking to them like they had 12 regional qualifiers. They had a great year. I think they're pretty high right now in the 2A team state rankings. They only got 3 to semi-state. Like, that's not fair. I don't know, man. You can go 100 different directions. I just feel like a little bit of maybe spacing teams out, which then forces teams to wrestle each other in the regular season, which then forces teams to kind of see that grind and get better. But right now, if you're in that Jeff sectional, you need to see Borden, Silver Creek, Henryville, all those teams for sectional seeding purposes. Whether you want to laugh at that or not, it's just true, because what happens is those teams walk in with maybe potentially a decent record, and you don't have the head-to-head, and that kind of can cause chaos. So you're getting going down another kind of a slippery slope there, Joe. Way to go. But anyway, it's kind of a curse. Like, you want to build your programs up, but what you're seeing is when you build and start these new programs, what you're seeing right now in that Jeff sectional is what happens is it kind of waters out a sectional while those programs get built up.
Yeah. I didn't realize there were so many like small schools around Jeffersonville. Like,
Yeah, tons. And they got to have a section. You look at geographically where they're going to go, and it's the Jeff sectional.
Yeah, I guess I assumed there were just a few schools around there, and because Jeffersonville's a pretty big school, and I was like, oh, they must
massive. If you look at the numbers, it's not even close. Like they're a 5A school, and everybody else, I believe, is 2A and lower. Silver Creek might be a 3A, who's really good in other sports, and like they have a strong junior high program. It takes a long time in wrestling, where in football maybe you can like get a group of dudes together for 2 or 3 years and take off, but in wrestling it takes a long time to create that culture, to create that room, to create everything. So
yeah.
I don't know. I just know my kid, a middle school state champ, will be like a 6th place sectional finisher next year because they put Indian Creek and Franklin in our sectional.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that's the reason you don't like that.
I think geographically, and obviously, my geography down there is terrible. But I feel like there's a lot of people crossing paths and crossing sectionals to get to some weird areas. I mean, I know it's like kind of spread out weird, but it's just like when I seen all the kind of the redistricting, I thought that was really weird.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think there's some. If I was reading on, I think IndianaMat or Facebook or somewhere, it was talking about trying to build up the Southridge sectional, so they sent Floyd and New Albany over there. You have Tell City there. Southridge isn't bad, so they're trying to. I think they were thinking they were kind of spreading teams out across, but now you're always going to end up with that 1 week sectional. And now by doing that, you've ended up with that 1 week sectional with Jeff. You have Jeff in Charlestown, then a dramatic drop off after that.
Yeah. So 175. After we got it took us to 175 to get a good reign out of TripleB. So we'll work on that for next week. Tyler Lake, Columbus East, James Leclerc of Plainfield, Austin Bell of Evansville North, and Cooper McCloy from Terre Haute South. So McCloy is a Kansas State qualifier, I believe. So that should be a good quarter bracket there.
Tyler Lake's had a lot of really good wins. He was having a lot of notable wins, whether it was matches or he had a couple wins late. I don't think he had the Al Smith that he was looking for to get into the rankings. James Leclerc's a guy I feel like has been in the state rankings for a long time. He's been on that list for a long time. Coming off a really tough regional, that should be a good first round match. Cooper McCloy's had a really good year for Terre Haute South, and like sometimes when you're good, like Terre Haute South's done really well. They were the number 2 seed at 3A. They end up getting a guy move in, like a state qualifier from Kansas, which is a good get for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think McCloy's the favorite. Austin Bell's a phenomenal, again, a guy we've heard a lot about. North has 4 or 5 really good kids we're starting to see here in these later weights. Bell McCloy, I think, will be a pretty good first-round match. McCloy has I'm pretty sure, a pretty solid win over Lake this year, if I remember right, back at the Columbus East Invitational. I think McCloy's the favorite there.
McCloy was a state qualifier, and he won his first – I don't know how Kansas brackets work. He won his first match, lost his second match, won his third match, and then lost his fourth match.
I wonder if they only qualified.
Oh, wow.
Placed 6th. They might have only placed 6th then. The way
yeah, so he was 2-2 at the Kansas State Finals.
So, going down, you got Noah Clauser, Center Grove, number 1 in the semi-state. Noah Kendall from North Harrison, James Hastings from Terre Haute North, and Braxton Schaefer from Heritage Hills.
It's hard to pick against Noah Clauser there. I mean, top 4 ranked kid, number 1 ranked in the semi-state.
Yeah, he's really good. I'm really happy he was able to make it back and be pretty healthy the entire year. We were pretty shocked when he went from 90 to 75. I thought that was a pretty strong move for him statewide. But he had a pretty significant knee injury last year. Was it the regional or
it might have been
before going to semi-state?
Sectional or something. I thought it was a little bit earlier, but he gutted it out.
Yeah, he did. He gutted it out. I would be willing to bet he's pretty high up on their all-time wins list. I think he's done a good job for the Trojans at Center Grove. I know they've had a pretty rich history of wrestling, but I know I believe he won 4 sectionals, right? So. Try to make that last run there.
Yeah.
Bottom half of the bracket, Bray Emrine from Floyd Central, Drew Shapka from Mater Dei, Griffin Campbell of Brownsburg, and Keller Despain of Columbus North. Did I pronounce that right, or is it Despain?
It's Despain. You said.
Try to jazz that up, Jeff. Emrine's really good. 33-1, really solid senior. Again, I mean, Floyd's in a good spot there. I mean, I don't know where he wouldn't have been the favorite on a runner-up, but not a good spot for Griffin Campbell. That first round match with Despain would be a tough one, but I would say Emrine is the favorite there to get out.
Yeah. So, and then actually, Emrine was favored overall to win the bracket, which was Emrine 5th in the state, Clouser 4th. Also, Emrine was in the I don't know, a lot of people know this, kind of a little backstory. Emrine used to be in the Center Grove room. He went to middle school at Center Grove before coming. He was at Floyd, Center Grove, and then back to Floyd for high school. So I would be fairly certain Emrine and Clouser know each other probably pretty well in that potential final match there. It could make it fun for sure.
Last quarter bracket, freshman Sam Howard from Boone, Vegas, undefeated, 51-0.
Boontucky, right? I think it's Boontucky.
Boontucky. Oh, jeez. Tristan Hicks of Bloomington South, not quite undefeated. Sean McAfee of Charlestown and Noah Sumner of Martinsville. So you should have a 3-4 in the semi-state in the ticket round and 9-14 in the state. So Howard going to get a really big, good test in the ticket round.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Howard's had a great year for Boonville, 51-0. I think I put parentheses like, where do you find 51 matches at anymore? That's some old like Sertzis Griffith numbers. You don't see a lot of 51 matches anymore. But so certainly he's had a lot of matches. And then Sumner, Martinsville, coming out of that Mooresville regional, he's been battle tested for sure. The pickers went with Howard there, but again, that could be a potential coin flip without. The interesting part about the Evansville semi-state we haven't talked about is like a lot of these dudes don't see each other, where I think in a lot of the other semi-states you'll at least see each other once or have some commons, but it's possible to go through a whole year where just nothing ever falls, and you're right here, and I'm sure we've missed 100 matches like that, but Howard and Sumner here, two guys that's had 2 great years without ever crossing paths, so it can make for a semifinal match where you just don't know. You're just kind of picking based off how you feel the rankings fall or how you feel potential off seasons were or whatever. So,
I seen someone posted today that they feel like Sam Howard is going to be the first state champ in Boonville history. Well, not this year, but
all that. Yeah.
And that's pretty strong because Wyatt Ulrey's doing pretty well too. I mean. But Sumner has 5 losses. He lost to Tier Goodwise, Perry Meridian, Russell, Emrine, and Clouser twice. I mean, he's pretty tough. I know Briar Runyon's got those guys going pretty good. That'll be a good ticket round match. But 51-0 freshman at 175 pounds is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
190. You start off with a doozy. Jet Goldsberry turning state qualifier, Heritage Hills, having a good sophomore year. Jose Ramirez, Columbus North via the Cleveland Guardians. Jalen Van Slyke, Andy's son. And then,
baseball on that?
Yeah, throwing a little baseball knowledge in there. Caden McConnell from Center Grove got beat last week, obviously by the number 1 ranked guy, and his reward is Jet Goldsberry. So, good wrestlers going home early here.
Yeah, I mean, another just Charles Barkley terrible draw for sure. Goldsberry, you said it all, returning state qualifier. Had a phenomenal football season for the runner-up. Heritage Hills football team is their quarterback. I think all three losses to Noah Terry, I think.
There's a website for that, last I heard. I would say I keep
wanting to make jokes and I don't. I'm afraid you'll cancel me. So
yeah, yes, got pinned the first 2, and then it was a 5-1 match later. So yes.
Yeah. So all three losses to a pretty good Noah Terry that we'll talk about in a minute. Man, it's hard to pick against McConnell, and I really like the Goldsberries. Like, I've met Dad a couple times. He's a good guy. I'll be rooting for Jet personally come Saturday. Just a bad draw all around there.
McConnell had a tough draw last year in the ticket round too, right?
Yeah, he was fourth at semi-state last year.
I know he was fourth at semi-state. I just clicked on Jet Goldsberry because I was going to look at like some of his stats. He has a really cool his track wrestling is really well done. He was the high school champ at Indy Nationals, Indy National champ, 2-time Indy National runner-up, and it's just like very well sectioned. Fourth at USWA Folkstyle Nationals, sixth at Nationals, runner-up National Folkstyle National champ, 4-time Folkstyle state champ, and freshman sophomore champ. So it just, I don't know, just pulled it up. Whoever did his track wrestling, great job. It looks really good. Yeah, that's a good one, man. That'd be a tough match. Two really good athletes, two really good football players. I think McConnell does a good job for Center Grove also. Center Grove needs that match. They need McConnell's points if they're going to contend for a state title.
Yeah. Returning runner-up, obviously, they're gonna need those points. Going down, you got Lance Jones, Franklin, Senior, Kevin Acton from Vincent's Lincoln, Cameron Biven from Pike, and Colin Cassad from Terre Haute South. And we've been talking a lot about Terre Haute South, and Cassad's in a real good spot right there.
Yeah, I think Cassad gets out. For Pike, we've been saying his name, I think, for 2 years now. Cassad, 35-2, ranks 11th in the state. I think he's the one that punches his ticket in that quarter bracket.
Yeah, I think we didn't talk about it with Coy Bender, but that started kind of that run for Terre Haute South, where they're really talented at those spots. Like going up to heavyweight, they're pretty good. I think he's in a good spot. Lance Jones, Franklin Community, 24-14. I think Franklin wrestled a really tough schedule. That'll be a good one in the ticket round.
Last half bracket, Noah Terry, Tell City, number 6. He has number 18, Braxton Lewis from Cascade, Caden Thacker from Mater Dei, and Cody Shoemaker from Jeffersonville. So that should be a pretty good first round match, and another guy with a semi-state ranking and a ever elusive Greco City Jeffersonville guy.
Terry's really good. I was gonna, I watched him and Henry wrestle in December, and it was like at one point. I mean, we're talking down to the absolute wire. He lost 8-7 to Henry. One of the better matches I've seen this year. So, like, no disrespect to Lewis Thacker Shoemaker, but Noah Terry's the real deal. Like, he's really good. I'm excited to see that Terry-Henry rematch in the semis.
I think Braxton Lewis, it's good to see him back too. I think he was injured last year, right? He had like a broken ankle or something at sectional. He had something where he was out, but I don't think he had a lot of losses last year. I think he was in the rankings last year too. Really, really tough Mooresville Regional there, coming in fourth, and that's probably of the ones that you could have got. I mean that's a tough one. You probably look at that and you're like, man, that's the one I don't want.
Noah Terry or Jack Goldsberry or Lance Jones. Pretty sure I know which one you want.
Yeah.
Right.
So, bottom quarter bracket, Gunnar Henry having a real good junior year, 28-3. Spencer Fain from Floyd Central, Colin McMahon, a real good freshman for Columbus East, and Jiron Kearney. So all underclassmen there at 190. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, you don't see that a whole lot for sure, but I think Henry, like I said, I'm jazzed for the Henry Terry rematch in the semis. So
yeah, I agree with that.
215, Kellen Fallier from Franklin Community. Floor. Having a real good freshman year, regional champ. Comes in there as the only one with a number beside his name, so that's pretty rare to have a freshman at the 200s qualify. Noah Owens from Southridge, Aiden Beatles from South Putnam, and Brant Oakley from North Posey. So that's going to be an interesting quarterback. I know we have not. I'm pretty positive we have not had a state placer as a freshman at 215 or 220, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe. I don't know if so. I know the Beatles got the votes from the rankers, but the TripleB guarantees Kellen Fallure from Franklin Community. We got to see Tante in a suit in Evansville, right? Like, this would be the last chance. I think Fallure makes sure we see the wild, crazy Tante suit. So I have Fallure getting through while the pickers went a different direction. They all liked Aiden Beatles from South Putnam.
Yeah, I like Fallure there too. Brant Oakley for North Posey, that'll be a good one with Beatles right off the bat.
And going down, you got number 17, Landon Terry from Tell City, having a good year also. Noah Dalton from Salem, Colton Adamson from Castle, and Spencer Watson, returning state qualifier from Tri-West. So that should be a real good quarter bracket with 14 and 17.
14, 17, and a 3 versus a 4. So I like Landon Terry. But again, like what we said 100 times, Spencer Watson's been up in the Indy area kind of wrestling. Terry's been down in the Tell City area wrestling. They haven't crossed paths. It'll be a really good semi or quarterfinal match there with Terry and Watson.
Yeah. Watson spent some time up at heavyweight too for a little bit. I know he had some matches up there. I thought he had a pretty good win at heavyweight also.
Yeah, I believe he did. He lost to Brant back. He beat Wyatt Woodall. Lost 6-5 to Brewer, 4-0 to Brewer. He beat Sean Murphy. That's Murphy.
Yeah, Terrell South. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, that's a good win.
Yeah. I think he was pretty good, and he was kind of a guy that flew under the radar last year and ended up qualifying. That'd be a good tick-around match. If TripleB's going Landon Terry, I might go Watson on that one. Just coin flip. I think those guys are both really talented.
Last half bracket, Kane Brewer returning state qualifiers, Zachary Martin from Wrights, Devin Orman from Northview, and Xavier Gindhart of Jennings County. Obviously, Brewer's probably a heavy favorite here.
Yeah, Brewer's a 4 tough lock, and not only that, but I'm gonna tell you, Brewer will be on the podium this year. So I know he's ranked 11th, but I think he breaks through and gets on the podium. I was looking, I think his freshman year he went sectional champ, regional champ, lost ticket round. Last year he went sectional champ, regional champ, semi-state champ, lost Friday. So I think this year, just in the progression, he breaks through and gets on the podium.
Yeah, I think that one was a tough one because he had that loss to Weingart, and that Weingart had a couple losses that kind of pushed him down. So, Brewer kind of hung with that loss. But I think he's really good. I think another guy that I think kind of flies under the radar for Brownsburg.
And the last quarter bracket, another Heritage Hills big guy, Parker Hart, number 19, Grant Stewart from Avon, Jesus Aguilar from Seymour, and Tyson Rui from Jasper. So 16 and 19 potentially. So that should be another good one. Another coin flip.
Yeah, the pickers went with Rui from Jasper, 34 and 5. Parker Hart from Heritage Hills. I mean, kind of Heritage Hills crew there. You were talking about like Terre Haute South being good in the upper weights. Heritage Hills is really good in the upper weights also, and a majority of them are underclassmen, so they'll all be back next year. So why Rui's a favorite, if Parker Hart were to win there, I don't think, again, that wouldn't be a huge surprise for anybody.
Yeah, Parker Hart had a really nice win over Landon Terry this year. I think, and I know, I think Rule had a couple losses to Terry. I mean, not that tells you anything. That doesn't really help you say in the transitive property of wrestling. But those guys are pretty close. That'll be a good match. It just kind of tells you, score-wise, that they both wrestled Terry. They both were pretty close with them.
I didn't wrestle. I reffed the Hart-Terry match, and Hart kind of just hung around. I felt like, Terry kind of controlled, and Hart hung around. The last second, Hart hits a double leg going out of bounds as time expires to win the match. It was a really good match, a really good ending to the match. Hart was still in football shape at the time. I think they've wrestled since then, and Terry beat him. Maybe even that very next week, I think they wrestled and Terry beat him in the duel. But yeah, it was a good match.
Ro has a pinfall over Hart too.
Oh, well, there you go.
So
that must be why we all picked Ruby to win.
So last bracket, Nate Johnson, Center Grove. Obviously, he doesn't have his losses in the wrestle-off matches in there. Could be significant. We could put those as significant wins. Brady Reeves of Evansville North. Braden Jones of Eastern Pekin. Or is it Pekin? Sean Murphy from Terre Haute South. Terre Haute South. So 4-15. Johnson's having a real good year. He only loss is to
Will Clark.
Will Clark.
Paul Clark.
Yes. So
I mean, I wanted to all year long. I don't say all year long. A couple times I text Joe and asked if I could just rank the Center Grove heavyweight and not put a name by it when I did my rankings, because you never knew who was going to come out of the wrestle off. But Nate Johnson is a Ford Tough lock. Funny story about Braden Jones from Eastern Pekin. Coaches didn't show up at the sectional seating meeting, and nobody knew anything about him, so he got drawn into sectionals unseated. Had the pigtail match where he had to win or go home. So he's pigtailed. He went from pigtails to a semi-state qualifier.
Jeez. Classic coaches.
Nate Johnson had the best too, right?
I think I heard they even called. I think they called the coaches and asked for his record, and they didn't know. Like, we don't know his record. We have no idea. So.
Oh, my God. Jeez. Hey, he ran into semi-state, and obviously he doesn't. I'm sure they're not doing any. If they don't know his record, they probably don't. They're probably not scouting Sean Murphy or Nate Johnson. So going as a wild card.
Ignorance is bliss sometimes, fellas. That's all that matters. Sometimes
yes.
You gotta beat everybody.
That's the best way to go.
Yep. Going down, you got another Heritage Hills guy. No wonder they're good at football. Their guys, their big guys are good. Hayden Smith coming in with one loss. Javian Jones, Decatur Central. Brandon Brewer of Northview, and Brody Stevens. Is Brewer related to the Brewers of Brownsburg?
I don't know.
Have to see if he's got some peanut butter and jelly in his DNA or not. I don't know. I have to find out.
So, Hayden Smith's having a real good sophomore year, 30-1 at heavyweight.
Yeah, 30-1 as a sophomore at heavyweight's pretty impressive. So.
Yeah, I think TripleB kind of hit it on the nose. Heritage Hills has some really good upper weights, and Hayden Smith's one of those guys. It'll be interesting to see if those guys start growing into each other and moving the guys around. There's not a lot of buffer room up there, but he's put himself in a good spot. Winning the regionals, having a really good season.
Last half bracket, Ben Land from Jeffersonville, another really good heavyweight in Jeffersonville history. Dylan Hale from Owen Valley, Austin Cox from Castle, and Joseph Orzadere, or that's his government name.
Oh, I've been waiting for that one all night.
What is it? Ola Uwanga Benga? Or Sangre?
Oluwagbanga?
I like it, man.
Double O's. The triple O. Oluwagbanga, Osadere, the Oriole, right? They're the Orioles? Triple
yes. Triple O.
Triple O versus Triple B. Let's go.
Big two heavyweights. Yeah, he's a pretty big heavyweight, and that should be a real good ticket round match there.
Yeah, so Orsaderi got the votes to get through. I was kind of shocked. Just, lands a returning state qualifier, 40-5. I've watched him wrestle a couple times this year, but Orsaderi with a many kind of upset picks anyway to get through. But, Ben Lands, again, I talked earlier with Slaughter or one of those other guys. He's a thrower, man. Like, Orsaderi comes in too much, it's going to be lights out. See you later, so.
He's a big, strong kid. I'm surprised they haven't seen each other. Really saw each other last year. Ben Land's really talented. That'll be a good one. When he gets the rankings, man.
Wasn't Ben Land was he an All-American, Greco All-American?
No. He might have been like when he was younger.
Years ago, then?
He might have been when he was younger, but not like Fargo. So, last quarter bracket, Justin Brown, Floyd Central, Cameron Carney from Jennings County, Keegan Mowry Shields from South Putnam, and Gabe Veek of Vinton Central. So Brown's another Floyd Central guy putting himself in a good spot. So Sisson, man, the bracket gods blessed Sisson in about 9 out of 10 weights.
Yeah, man, the Brown's good, though. Brown's had a couple wins over Land. I think I read somewhere it's just his second or third year of wrestling.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I mean, again, because I'm out reffing, I reffed Land. I was the assistant ref for Land Brown in the duel, and Land's aggressiveness, and Brown was able to counter it. I think Brown won like 16-5 or something, but it was all just counters. So yeah. Brown's good, though. I mean,
he's had a really good year. I was really impressed. I mean, 31-3 at the schedule they wrestled, and then he only wrestled for a short window. I didn't know a lot about him, but as results came in, you're like, man, those are really good wins.
Yeah, he has a pretty good resume this year. Beaten Land twice, beat Sean Murphy, Orzadare, lost in 7-2 to Nate Johnson, lost 8-6 to Jose Smith. So that's a pretty solid resume.
Really, really solid.
So that's our brackets. Didn't take us too long there. What Brown's his third year, so from John W. Brown. I'm assuming they're related.
Oh, that's pretty accurate.
They may or may not. Allegedly, they are related. So, TripleB, good having you on. Any other tips, wisdom, anything else you want to rant on? Are you going to get back on next week to give us the Evansville preview of,
We'll see if I can work you guys into my schedule or not. I'm busy. I'm a reffing man these days. I'm out collecting checks and dropping stalls and falls. So
stalls and falls.
What night I can get worked in. Just the kind of the same disclosure I always give every year, and that is parents don't take it personal. I always have a rough time. I don't have a rough time as much as I used to, but telling 14 or 15-year-olds you're gonna get beat, you're not favored to win. I used to find that a heavy thing to say, but, we're just trying to promote the sport of wrestling, promote Indiana wrestling. I'd like to see them all win and go on. I love it when a parent comes up and says, you didn't pick my kid to win and he won. And usually it's in good fun. I think people understand that we're not ball busters or anything. We're not actively rooting against kids or anything like that. So come up and say hi, shake my hand. If your kid wins and I didn't pick him, kudos, hats off, man. That's awesome. I'm super proud and super happy. I'm a dad too, whose kid wrestles and competes, so I get it. And just great time, man. Saturday, I love the Ford Center. I love semi-state. I'm so excited that it's states at the Ford Center this year. I can't wait, man. Mrs. TripleB is going to her first semi-state ever this year.
Nice.
So I can share beds with Joe Caprino next weekend. I think it's one king size that Joe and I are sharing next weekend. So that's going to be pretty exciting.
Oh, we didn't tell you that we have 4 rooms for 5 people. And so the 2 worst semi-state rankers have to shack up.
Ooh-wee.
So Mike and I are sleeping together? You already know that? That's
I'm not saying who.
Caleb and Howie's got it on lock, so I know it.
I just know Caleb's on fire right now, so you guys are going to be hard to... He really...
I think this is Caleb's tough round, though.
Yeah.
I think, and kind of go off what TripleB was saying, doing the rankings is a lot of fun, and it's really cool. You meet a lot of people, and you're right. We're not, out here actively, going against anybody, but we definitely, feel at the end of the day, you want to make sure that people are, having a good time, that with the rankings, it's just kind of a reflection of what you've already done, right? It's not hey, this, some people well, that's your opinion. We let the results kind of do it, right? And then there's times like we said earlier in the show, that we might just say, hey man, you go one way, I'll go the other one. One of us will be right. And, I think
I'm struggling.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
I think that sometimes people forget that we're still fans of it, and we want to see dude, I'm excited when I see people are getting upset. People you didn't see that coming. No, I didn't, man. That's awesome, dude. I'm pumped for that.
Yeah, no, we're fighting. I mean,
and I don't know what next year brings either with my kid wrestling. do I outsource his weight class and don't mess with it all year so I can have a peaceful dinners in the Benz household? Or,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what next year brings for TripleB and the Evansville semi-state, what that looks like. So we'll find out as we get close. He's got to win his varsity spot first, and then we'll go from there. Maybe he's JV and I get another year out of rankings. So.
Yeah, you don't want to be sitting at the dinner table and be like, yeah, I told you I had that. You were going to get
Boom, Dad was right like always. Told you so.
I told you were going to get pinned by that kid. Jeez. Never listened to me. Yeah. See, the thing is, though, Mrs. TripleB, she's the toughest of them all. And she has access to...
Hey, that's what I'd be worried about.
Weapons of mass destruction.
Mrs. TripleB punched me in the face.
Yeah, so you might want to... So just as a heads up, when you do see Mrs. TripleB, she's the one that is the toughest one in the family. So she's
definitely one of the more vocal ones, right?
Yeah. Yes. So that's the one you don't want. That's the one if you see her coming, you're in trouble. I just know I can fend her off with IndianaMat gear because that like puts her in a happy place.
She loves her gorilla gear for sure.
But she's still wearing this Madison stuff in all those pictures, so we got to get her in. When she's at the event, she's got to be promoting the site. So
she'll have it on this weekend. She'll be in IndianaMat gear this weekend for sure.
Okay, good. So, I guess do we have anything else to say? Mike and I will be back tomorrow. We're gonna pound out 2 semi-states in one.
We're gonna start early, man. We're gonna probably try to jump on at 6-hour time, or maybe even earlier than that. These are going about 2 hours.
Yeah, we can go a little bit faster. With 2 of us, it's not as much back and forth, so it shouldn't be too bad. So we'll get them out. We might actually do kind of 2 shows. I was thinking maybe stop one show, and then that way they're separated on the podcast thing. So,
yeah.
But we'll figure that out tomorrow.
Early show for Newcastle, late show for the region, man. We stay up late out here.
Yeah.
It's 11 o'clock for you guys. It's only 10 o'clock for me.
Yeah. So thank you, TripleB, for joining in. We look forward to, I'm sure you're excited for 2 weeks of Evansville, and I'm excited for 1 week. So I can only take Evansville 1 week a year. So I guess I'm not going to be able to go to the Nut Festival. Maybe next year.
It's in October. Maybe.
People love, dude, honestly, like talking to people this week, they're really excited that you're coming on, man. You're a fan favorite for sure.
Yes. So.
People in the region too, man. Like it was like, oh man, when you guys getting Bent's on? Like, is he gonna do the semi-state? Like, yeah, he's going on Wednesday, bro. I do a show every week. You don't want to say nothing to me? And it's like my brother's saying that.
Hey, I'm a man of the people, man. Hey, I love the region. People don't know, like, Chicago's my favorite city. I'm a Bears fan. My wife was in Chicago when I met her. Like, I love Chicago. It is maybe after Evansville, Chicago kind of fall in there somewhere together. So
nice.
Wow. So well, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.